I? Who the hell am I? Can you hear me? I bet you can, because I got the music down pretty low. I didn't realize it. All right, that's cool. As long as you can hear me. Hi, everybody. I'm back. And hip and thigh and ankle. Let me start. Let me turn this down a little more, because I got to start with something that's actually serious that I'm just going to say right now. In fact, I'll just pause the music. Thanks for all of you who've reached out to me since I've been gone, and I apologize for not being here Tuesday, and I'm a little embarrassed about it, but I guess I shouldn't be. I haven't been able to get into my basement till today, and that's because I have a broken railing, and it seems like it's such a little thing, but I didn't realize that I'm just kind of scared to go down the stairs. But here's the thing, with my new hip, it was pretty easy for me to go upstairs with or without a railing, with my cane and whatever I'm using to get. Well, first I started out with a walker, but now with a cane, getting upstairs was easy. But getting downstairs, I had to use the railing. No balance, just whatever. So anyway, and I wish I would have communicated to you that I wasn't going to be back Tuesday when I said I would, I sincere apology, and I appreciate your patience. The fact that you guys are just rolling in is fantastic, and so I appreciate your patience with me. I'm gonna get this thing started again, and the other thing too, and now if some of you are following me on Marty's Big Journey, I have been posting a lot of what do you call it? The YouTube shorts, I post on Instagram and there, and that's easy because I don't have to go anywhere to do that. I do that just from my phone. And so, if you haven't, and over there, nothing serious. In fact, I've been humoring myself and keeping my spirits up by just telling jokes. So if you just want to hear me being silly, go to my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. You'll find it. If you type in Marty's Big Journey on YouTube, you'll find it if you're not already there. Check that out too. And I'm having a lot of fun with that channel. It's funny because I started doing it just before we left for Hawaii, and then when we were in Hawaii, I didn't post much. But then I got back and I've been posting more, and just little 10 second clips at the most. They're really short videos, so it's not going to take up a lot of your time. Please go check out Marty's Big Journey. You'll I think you'll appreciate it. But there also some of the footage I'm using, footage from our trip to Hawaii. And as you can see, I'm a little darker. Honestly, I was much darker than this, but that all is peeling off. We made a mistake of going out into the, I can turn the music back on. We made the mistake of going, we did one beach day, 'cause we didn't really spend a lot of time on beaches when we were in Hawaii. We just spent time going and seeing around the Big Island. And that was fun, man. I tell you, that is one cool place. And we saw probably every section of the island while we were there. But we did one beach day, right? We did one beach day. We did two, but the first one wasn't necessarily successful. It was at the end of the day. It was a beach that wasn't that great. A lot of rocks and stuff. But so the one beach day though, we we're just gonna go out early. We'll be about we'll be out there. Excuse me, 10 o'clock in the morning, and we won't stay that long, maybe just till 1. But the mistake we made is we went SPF 0, as in we didn't use any sunscreen. We were out playing in the ocean and whatever, and hanging out on the beach, and just this beautiful. Oh my God, the beach is so beautiful. The sand is nice. Oh, beautiful beach. And then we had to go back, and we planned to go to a luau that day. So we said, okay, we're gonna leave here in time so we can get ready to go to luau and whatever. And both of us just got cooked. I'm peeling like a mug still. I'm still peeling, but Anyway, it was fun. So anyway, today, what I want to do, I just want to have a chill Friday. Now, I wasn't even going to pull up articles. I was just going to go on Twitter and see what the top articles people are sharing on Twitter. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So here's what I'd like to do. I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I have a few articles here and there. And also, it's kind of an Ask Me Anything day. Because I'm sure you're curious about my hip surgery. I'm sure you're curious about the trip to Hawaii. I'm sure you're curious about a lot of things that, so feel free to ask me anything. I'm going to pay attention more to the chat today. And we'll have a fun day. So anyway, Johnny, let's do this. Let's play the intro, okay? Okay, I see. Hang on. Play the intro, Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Oh yeah! So, stop the music. Thank you, and we are back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where Avocats Diablo has it correct. I am appealing to you. And that's the end of the sentence. I'm peeling like a mug. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody and just get this thing started. First, though, we do have our first sponsor in 3 weeks. Has it been 3 weeks or something like that? How long have I been gone? At least 3 weeks. It has been 3 weeks because it was Thursday. I did my show Thursday morning before we left for Hawaii, which was 3 weeks ago yesterday. So anyway, first sponsor of the show in forever is Tyre Alexander. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring the show. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Since I'm going to be out of work for probably another 4 to 5 weeks, I need all that I can get. So thank you. I appreciate it. Tyre says, welcome back, old man. You missed a shit ton. Did you hear they invented the wheel while you were gone? And the year turned to double digits. Oh, and the sun god defeated the darkness. Kidding. Again, welcome back. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. That's cute. He made some old jokes. One of the things, again, I really want you to go check out Marty's Big Journey, because one of the things I realized, and I laugh because there's an oldie station in the Twin Cities here. It's called Cool 108, okay? And when I moved to the Twin Cities, it was 30 years ago, right? I've been here 34 years I've been in the Twin Cities. And when I moved here, let me just say, even well into the 90s, when you described music as oldies, okay? Oldies really kind of meant the original rock and roll, right? 50s and early 60s rock and roll. That's what was oldies was. And even in the 70s, when you said oldies, you were talking about the early 50s to the early 60s, okay? The originators, And so there's this oldie station called Cool 108. In fact, when I moved here, my roommate, who moved here to work for that station, we were roommates. I moved here because he moved here because we were good friends. I'm like, I always liked Twin Cities. I moved here. And so the oldie station was Cool 108. And I flipped on Cool 108 by accident because I don't even listen to the radio anymore. I really don't listen to music that much. And but I like listening to music. I just don't do it. If I'm going to listen to music, it's usually somewhere, where I'm in a bar or something. But I just happened to flip into channels on Cool 108, and they were playing songs from like the early 90s and down, like the 70s to the early 90s. And I'm like, man, I used to party to this music. And then I saw a joke that I put on my Marty's Big Journey channel. Because the joke is, you know you're getting old when you're folding laundry to music you used to party to on a station that used to be the oldie station. So it's just funny. So anyway, thank you again, Ty Alexander. Also, thank you, Cryptic, for was the first spot today over on Rumble, who says he's black or back or whatever. Yes, thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you. I'm blacker than I was even. I'm tan now. I mean, but again, the skin on my face already all peeled, and I'm still a shade darker, so that's cool. Anyway, I loved Hawaii. Man, it would be so easy for me and Lady Boomer to move to Hawaii. They have one thing they have, especially on the Big Island, they have a shortage of nurses, and my wife just happens to be an RN, and she's like, man, we could move here because they have UPS in Hawaii. I saw one UPS truck while I was there driving down Waikoloa. What is it? What's Waikoloa Road or something like that where we were staying. And I was like, oh yeah, I suppose, so, we're in the United States still. They have UPS, but although they have UPS everywhere. When we were in Germany, I took a picture with a UPS driver. So I was like, anyway. Oh, and also, yeah, Kay's son Nick is now going to work for UPS. He's going through orientation right now. Yeah, I was glad to help him. I helped him get it. Well, I didn't necessarily help. I just told him what to do because if you go on UPS Human Resources, they kind of run you around. I said, no, go to the office, Human Resources, apply there, and tell them where you want to work, and they'll get you in there because they said online it says that the shift he wanted to work was not available, and I'm like, that's wrong. It's always available. So anyway, let's say hi to the chat and we'll get started. First to chat over on Rumble is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Renee Mayette's in the house. Woot to you too. Chicago Mike, who's at work, so he just had to pop in and pop out. Thank you, sir. Road Dog, SM's in the house, and Cryptic are all over on Rumble. Thank you for watching over there. On excuse me, on YouTube. First in the chat is, again, Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Also, good morning, Jess Phillips, my fantastic son-in-law. By the way, Jess, did you see your, what is my son to you? Well, he's kind of your brother-in-law. Yeah, your brother-in-law. Did you see your brother-in-law's wedding video? Oh my gosh. So my son sends me, they had this videographer at the wedding, and holy shit, the video from the wedding, I watched it about 12 times yesterday, and I tear up every time. It was really beautiful wedding video. Anyway, I know Jess, you saw that. That was amazing. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, JMK's in the house. What's up? Also, Lord Stanhope, good morning. Grand Inquisitor, excuse me, hold on. The Grand Inquisitor, Tyre Alexander. Good morning, sir. Also, hello to Tyler F. What's up? Lord Stanhope, what's up? Good morning, Anonymity T2, aka the Terminator. Also, good morning to Somnambul Nation. Thank you for tweeting out the show. Who else is here? Tribute Liberty, what's up, my brother? And also, Reaccion Puerto Rico. You lovely island of tropical breezes. Always the sugar cane growing. Oh, what's the other line? That's not the right line. There's the second verse, the two verses of Puerto Rico from West Side Story. One paints this beautiful picture of the island. The other paints this, just reasons why you wouldn't want to be there. But I prefer why you would like to be there. And I was just on an island for 8 days, not that long ago, and I really enjoyed being on an island. It was beautiful. Anyway, also good morning, Renee Mayette. Hello. Rumble failed on you. Whoa, what? Is it not working? Is Rumble working? It's working now. Yeah, it's working. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. It's working. All right. I just had to check because I wasn't sure. Let's see. Who else is here? Am I missing anybody? Who am I missing? I know I saw another name pop up. Jedi Ghost Bear, what's up? Always providing some stuff on the internet, on the X thing. I haven't noticed you've done that for a while, but you always have a lot of good stuff on there. Cool Frogs in the house. What's up, man? Nice to see you. We'll set something up soon. In fact, because I got a lot of time on my hands, and I'd be happy to go on anybody's show. In fact, by the way, that's one thing I want to do while I'm now that I'm back and I'm not going to be working for a little bit. I want to invite some guests on my show. I want to go on other people's shows. So if you got any ideas, you can DM me or make a comment in one of my videos or on in this if you don't have Twitter or whatever. Or you can email me at pdogknight@gmail.com. And if you have any suggestions or if you know anybody, it's more if you have a connection and say, hey, man, this guy wants to go on people's shows or he wants people on his show. Just if you have a connection with somebody, let me know. Let's see. Those 8 real dudes in the house. Nice to see you. Chicago Mike, of course. We already said it's working. You got to come back. Jesse Leon, good morning. Cannibalistic Wizard, Brett Hayes, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And, man, you haven't chatted up a storm. Paulissa, that's my lovely daughter. Hello. And hello, Lily, my granddaughter. I'm curious if she said Buppa yet. She calls me Buppa. I think that's cute. Buppa and Mima are the grandparents' names a la our first granddaughter. Let's see. Oh, this is a while ago. And am I missing anybody? Unacceptable Views in the house. Welcome. Kay, of course. Good morning. And so glad that Nick got a job at UPS. Wait, I scrolled a little too hard there. Am I missing anybody? It's been a while. By the way, I don't even have any time limits on this show. I'm going to warn you though. I am going to have to do like little breaks here and there because I can't sit too long right now, and I got a medication alarm coming on sometime going on because I'm not on a regular medication schedule to keep me from one of the things is they don't have to keep my blood right, so I take 1 aspirin every day, and they give me a bunch of medication. I've never been on medication before. Oh my god, what a pain in the ass medications are. I had to literally set up an alarm system on my phone and list everything I had to take each time. I don't know how old people do it. Because I know at one point, like my mother-in-law was on like 20 different medications at the same time, and you got to time them out. Some are every 6 hours, some are 3 times a day, some are 2 times a day, some are every 4 hours. Some are once with every meal, some are before you go to bed, some are when you wake up. Some you do this. I'm like, this is a pain in my ass. And so I'm gonna be so glad. Like some of them I've already run out. Like one of them was oxycodone. They gave me 30 of those, and I used those out, and I don't need them anymore, thank God. And I didn't have any weird effects. I didn't have the, like a lot of people get weirded out like things like Percocet or Oxy or whatever. I didn't at all. I was plenty clear-headed, and I think it managed the pain. I mean, it was never so bad. But what a pain in the ass. I had 7:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m. Basically every 2 hours I had to take something. And then I would mix in my 3 times a days with split those amongst those. But basically from 7:30 in the morning until 11:30 at night, I was taking something every 2 hours when we first started. Now I'm down to, it's much less than that, but what a pain in the butt. 30 that's like a half day. No, I only took 1 a day. I would take, I had 1 every 4 hours, an Oxy and 2 Tylenol, which is basically a Percocet is kind of the same. That's kind of like what Percocet is the same thing. I had those, every 4 hours. And then I also had an ibuprofen every 6 hours. So just to manage in between taking the Oxy and the Tylenol. And so it worked just fine. I mean, my pain level is pretty low right now, although I'm still doing the Tylenol, the ibuprofen. And that is, it's worked just fine. I mean, my pain's like a 2 when it gets worse, but my only problem is I still can't put full weight on my leg, and my balance is tough just because of that. And so that's what makes going downstairs tough. I finally was able to use to be able to go downstairs with my cane and just one hand on the wall. Cause it's not like it's super painful. It just doesn't work that well. Cause I still have, I think it's 48 stitches along my leg. If you follow me on Twitter, in fact, here, you want to see it? Here, let's see this. I'm going to show you. Let me show you. By the way, thank you. Let's see, who am I thanking here? Thank you, Tall Person, Somnambule Nation, Jedi Ghost Bear, Jack Cochran, Somnambule Nation, I already said. Thank you, Mitch Nemo, Tyler F., for all tweeting out the show. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Cannibalistic Wizard over on Rumble, too. What? Lady Booer didn't give you any of her special Sour Patch Kids? No, I didn't. She offered. I didn't need them. It was all good. What the hell was I going to do? Oh, I was going to show you the scar. Y'all want to see the scar? I have it on Twitter. Let me set this up so you can see shit on my computer. Give me 1 second. There we go. Now, if you're squeamish about this kind of shit, don't look, because I'm just saying. Fair warning. Fair warning. I feel like an auction. Here's the. Where's my profile? There we go. My profile. Annalyn, what's happening? Nice to see you. I may need Lady Moon to stop by after my show. Yeah, you know what? By the way, it's very nice to have a live-in RN. Although I thought I was gonna need to lean on her a lot more. She as far as especially me setting up the damn pill schedule, what a pain in the ass that was. But it wasn't that bad, and she was very helpful. And the hardest thing is I can't get around to cook, or I couldn't, especially at the beginning, get around to to cook for myself. I mean, but she was able to work from home the whole first week. And that was just a godsend. But anyway, so here we go. If you're squeamish, I'm telling you, look away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding. All right, there it is. My pasty white ass. That's where I look like where I'm not tan. In fact, you can see I'm sunburned in the bottom of the picture there. But so that's what the scar looks like. They had to do my surgery laterally, and they show us the nasty shit. Yeah, that's all you get to see. They had to do mine laterally because of my height and weight, rather than an anterior from the front. So it takes a little time, a little more time for that to heal, but it'll last longer for someone my size. I'm a big dude. Just whatever. But at least they didn't do it posteriorly, because that's the way they used to do it. And that recovery was really hard. This has not been that tough at all. Although, like I said, you have to manage how you get around places. Let's see. Yeah, it's Staples. I know. And scar is fine. Seeing your ass will give me nightmares, though. Sorry. It is what it is. Anyway, this card doesn't bother your ass. All right. No, we're not showing you chocolate starfish. Hello, Fox P2. What's happening? So, all right. I need to get that off my screen. I'm done looking at that. I can see that. Well, I have a waterproof bandage on it, right, too, so I can shower and stuff. But, anyway, let's see. Someone else just showed up. Did I say? Oh, I said hi to Anna Lynn. Linda Hunter, what's up? Nice to see you. Welcome. So again, this day, I'm going to be chatting with you as much as I can. And then we'll also look at any articles. So if you happen to see anything or want to talk about anything, just say so in the chat. I'm not going to do a live call-in type thing, but we'll do that. Now, Mr. Scott, what's happening? How you doing? Now, there is one really, really difficult thing about me having this surgery, though. And it's nagging, just nagging at me. But I can't really do anything about it. And that is the fact that I cannot drink coffee for about 4 to 6 weeks. So when we were in Hawaii, we were on the west half of the island. We were near the west shore, not north shore. We were actually up in we're in a resort up in the lava fields. It was really cool. At night, if you drive 1 mile south of our resort, it was pitch black. You could see the stars like unbelievably, and if photographers just love that area because it's one of the best places in the world to see some of the star, constellations and stuff. But we were staying on the west side. We drove a lot on the west coast. Actually, we drove all over the island, but we spent a lot of time on the west coast of the island. And if you're not familiar with the Big Island, that's where the Kona region of Hawaii is, which grows some of the best coffee in the world. And we had some amazing coffee right there, right? And we bought a bunch of coffee and had some of it shipped, and we bought some of it brought in our bags, and all this Kona region coffee fresh out of the roasters into these sealed bags and stuff. And I get back and I'm doing surgery. I'm like, wait a minute. I can't drink coffee for a while because the vasodilation, whatever. So that sucks. So my reparations cup is filled with orange juice today. But this cup is from Ken's House of Pancakes in Hilo, Hawaii. One morning we drove to Hilo just to see the sunrise on the Hilo Bay, and it was friggin' gorgeous. And there's video of that on my Marty's Big Journey channel. But we got up at 4 a.m. and drove to Hilo, because basically from one side of the island to the other is about 90-minute drive. And so we drove over to Hilo Bay, went to this cool little Japanese sculpture garden park that is on a peninsula in the bay, and just sat there and watched the sunrise. And then we went to Ken's House of Pancakes. Ken's House of Pancakes is a little restaurant. And apparently it's just all the locals eat there, because most people there look like Hawaiian natives, or I don't know if you say look like. There's a lot of let's say that they have the Polynesian vibe to them, right? And this place was great. Just a great restaurant. It had what's called a moco loco, which is a Hawaiian favorite breakfast, which is basically rice, a hamburger patty, some gravy over that, a couple of fried eggs over that, and gravy. Did I say gravy twice? And man, it seems really simple, like a really simple thing. And then I saw the guy next to me order one. I'm like, oh, what is that? He's like, oh, it's a moco loco. And he's putting soy sauce on it. And holy smokes, it was that good. I had a moco loco. You know what? Oh, avocado diablo. It should have been Spam. You know what? I can't believe we were in Hawaii for 8 days and we didn't have any Spam, because Spam's huge in Hawaii. Everyone in Hawaii loves Spam. The GIs introduced Spam to Hawaiian Islands, and the islanders loved it. And it's funny because you go into a store in Hawaii, and you know how if you go into a store here in the States, if you happen to even notice Spam on the shelf, there might be a little section about this wide, on a shelf, probably on the top shelf, Spam, right? In Hawaii, we went the first day we got there. We're staying in a condo, so we made our own breakfast every day and ate at the condo. And you go to the store, and they literally had a pallet of Spam. Okay, a pallet of Spam, about almost waist high, that they put out in the aisles because they sell so much of it there. It was hilarious. So anyway, Ken's House of Pancakes. If you're ever on the Big Island, go to Hilo. Go have breakfast at Ken's House of Pancakes. I can't remember what Laura ate, but it was phenomenal. And it's just a local joint. It's, I mean, it's kind of Denny's-esque, except for the food was so much better. And but they had this crazy extensive menu too, of lots of local dishes and lots of just different things that Hawaiians eat on the regular versus, like, they had at Ken's, you could one of the fish that's in season right now is called ono, okay? And ono fish, and ono just is Hawaiian for good, but it's this really dense fish, right? Like dense texture. And it's almost like eating chicken. It is, and it's so light tasting and good. And, a lot of places we went, we'd go to have fish and chips, and most of them were doing it with either ono or with mahi mahi. But it was, oh my God. And that's what Laura had. She had she had a breakfast with grilled ono, and it was just so freaking good. So anyway, Ken's House of Pancakes. That was on. So that day we drove to the other side. We went to Hilo. Then we went to all, like, a bunch of the waterfalls. There's a lot of waterfalls on that side of the island, so we went to a bunch of those. Then we drove south. We were going to go to this farmer's market in this one small town, but we just missed it. Huge farmer's market, but they were closing down. Then we went all the way to the southern point of the island, went to this, there's a black sand beach there. And there happened to be, there's also a place where a lot of the sea turtles, they go there in sun. So they have this one area kind of roped off where the sea turtles have this habit of sunning there, where there was one of them there. Then we drove, farther east to the back, like we're going to go back around the south side of the island. And, to the west side where we were staying, we were kind of in the northwest, so we all the way around the island. Went to go back to this green sand beach that we went to a day earlier. Yes, the sand is actually this green color, but there was a wildfire there. We went there the day before just to see it, and we were going to go back because we were going to go see the other side, which is a bigger green sand beach. But there was a wildfire there, and we get down there and the road's closed, and we're like, well, what the hell's going on? Well, there was there's all these fire trucks and whatever. And then we drove back up north, stopped at a guy who has a chocolate farm. Okay, he grows, the cocoa pods, and he kind of gave us a lesson on chocolate. We bought a bunch of chocolate there. Stopped at a little coffee farm. Stopped at another restaurant on the way and had some more fish and chips. Oh no, again, and then we finished our day seeing the sunset on the west side of the island. We were just getting close to where our resort was about. We were about 10 miles from our resort, and there's a scenic point on the road, and we stopped the scenic point, caught the sunset. So we started the sunrise on the east, we got to sunset on the west, and it was just a beautiful day. And then we had some cocktails at a bar because we tend to do that. Anyway, that was a great day. It was our best day in Hawaii. So, good morning, Shrapnel. What's up? Nice to see you. Thank you. I appreciate the welcome back. Real quick, thank you, Cryptic, again, dropping a deuce in the tip jar. We'll clean that up a little later. Thank you, sir. And it says, I got a real bad tan son of a beach. Yes, I did do that. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's from YouTube Super Chat. And Cryptic again, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar via Streamlabs, and that makes you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Cryptic, dropping a big bullet, 556, who says, since Hawaii is 40% Asian, I think your experience was slightly slanted. Oh, Cryptic! That's terrible. Now, Cryptic is the only one here that I know of allowed to make that joke because Cryptic's Asian, so he can get away with that shit. Well, I can get away with that shit. Why? Because if my sense of humor offends anybody, let me know so I can have a good laugh. Anyway, thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show. Yeah, by the way, this show, The Morning Night Live, is sponsored by you. Oh, wait a minute. Also, Hawaii Paradise Coffee. There's 2 different coffee regions in Hawaii, too, on the Big Island. One's Kona, and one is Kaiakua. And so more just short, Kua short. And both regions make really good coffee. But they said there's like, the other thing, too, you know, this island's basically a volcano field. The whole island's a volcano field. And they, so basically everything goes up to the mountains, and this whole island was formed that way. But at about the 1,500 foot level, but from about, I think he said like from about 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet, that 1,000 foot stretch, the entire Kona region is coffee farms, like a strip of coffee farms. But it's funny because when we were there, we were anywhere from sea level to, I think the highest we got up in the volcanoes was, I think, about 5,000 or 6,000 feet. There's roads that we were driving that were 5,000, 6,000 feet. And sometimes within, you know, we took a tour, we toured the island mostly ourselves. We rented a car the whole time and we drove ourselves around. We went all over the place. But the 3rd day we were there, we did just a full island tour. It's this 11-hour tour. You get in one of these, you know, big Mercedes Sprinter vans, and then the guy, you know, takes you to, he has a list of places they're going to take you. You know, you go to a coffee farm, you go to a Hawaiian bakery, you go to the Black Sand Beach, you go to go see one of the volcanoes that's active. You go to some waterfalls. I mean, you go around, and then a bunch of different scenic points for taking pictures. I tell you what, if you ever go to Hawaii, take one day to take one of those tours, because you see all the cool stuff in one day. And then you can kind of pick and choose what you're going to go back and see again, or if you want to see more of something, you can do that. But man, that was the greatest decision we could have done. It was really cool. No, we didn't. And how did you not have spam in Hawaii? We just didn't. You know what? We were, Laura and I both love seafood. And so we were really into the local seafood. We had, like I said, we had Ono fish a few times. First thing, I think our first meal in Hawaii, I think, was fish and chips at this restaurant called the Magic Beach. The Magic Beach is a restaurant. It's been there a while, but there's a beach. It's funny because you go sit out on the patio. We sat on the patio, you know, overlooking this beach. That's about maybe 100 yards wide or 150 yards wide maximum. You know, and it's surrounded by this, you know, this rocky shoreline, but there's a beach in this cove, and it's really a good beach for body surfing. A lot of kids were in there body surfing, but they call it the Magic Beach because every once in a while, the way the ocean current comes in and the waves come in, every once in a while, all the sand from the beach disappears, just like it's all gone. It's like it turns into rock. And then apparently, you know, I guess sometime later, it all is put right back to where it was, and it's a sandy beach again. So that's why they call it the Magic Beach. So anyway, our first meal there, we went to that restaurant called Magic Beach Cafe or something like that, and you're sitting on the railing, overlooking all these kids and people at this beach body surfing and shit, and drinking cocktails. It was fantastic. But the point here was that we ate mostly seafood while we were there. Like I said, we had a lot of ono, mahi, ahi tuna. We had one place that where we had ahi tuna and some fresh scallops. And literally, you know, when they say catch of the day, they mean they caught it over there and they brought it over here and you're eating the fish that they caught literally that day. And there's all kinds of places. You're driving around the island, there's all kinds of people who just will set up on the side of the road selling fish that they just caught, and people will buy it. And so yeah, that was our big thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What did we eat at the luau? I can't even remember what we ate at the luau. They had all kinds of stuff at the luau, but it was really good. Even beach sand needs a vacation. That is definitely my bucket list is to eat one of everything in the water. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we just loved it. Was it a 3-hour tour? No, it was not a 3-hour tour. No, it was an 11-hour tour, and it was great. We also went snorkeling one day. Now I've never been into snorkeling, but the snorkeling that we did, it was what's it, Captain Pike, I think is his name. There's a monument to this captain. I think it's Pike. No, not Pike. What the hell was his name? I'll figure it out. But this cove where he was, and it's a coral reef, and it was fucking awesome. I've never done a lot of snorkeling, but you put your face in the water, and you're breathing out of the stupid thing coming out of your head. And this coral reef had just this array of just these colorful fish all just swimming down there. It was beautiful, and it's crazy. So anyway, Captain Cook, yes, Cook. Was that his name? Yes, Captain Cook, who was one of the first, I think it was British, when Hawaiian was kind of under British influence. He's the one who kind of negotiated with King Kamehameha in the 1800s. So, first captain of the race. Yeah, not Pike. Oh, good God. Wasn't he killed by the Hawaiians? Yes, he was. He was killed by the Hawaiians. Yes, he was. And then the next guy is the guy who basically set up more of a relationship with Captain Cook, first Earl of Sandwich, inventor of the sandwich. What? Really? Is that the right? I don't know. So, all right. Enough about Hawaii, enough about me. But again, this is an Ask Me Anything stream. Cook got killed by Filipinos. Did you smuggle any lava rocks back? No. And actually, I don't think you have to smuggle lava rocks. Now, you cannot, like some of the beaches, you cannot take sand from. The green sand beach you can, which my wife collects sand from everywhere she's ever been around the world. So she has sand from all over the place. So she got some green sand. She got some black sand, not from the beach, the main black sand beach, the famous black sand beach, from another one, because you can't take sand from that main black sand beach. But there's like 3 black sand beaches on the Big Island. And she got some sand from the beach that we spent our beach day on. And then she has little jars of them all over the place. And so no, but yeah, so, and also like we found some coral on the on the shoreline, and it was funny because I found this one piece of coral that looks like the state of Texas. So I brought that one home because I'm going to send it to my friend who lives in Dallas. It's pronounced Kameha, or is it Kamea? I thought it was Kamea. Kamehameha. It's Kamehameha, not Kamea. Kameha. Anyway, I'm traveling around the Earth at 500 miles per hour. How long will it take me to reach the moon? What? You won't, because you're going around the Earth. Excuse me. But anyway, so yeah, we did not have spam while we were in Hawaii. And I hadn't even thought of it. Well, we thought of it, but we were too busy eating fresh fish and whatever the stuff they served at the luau. I can't remember what they served at the luau. It was so good. It was so fun. Never been to a luau before, obviously, because I've never been to Hawaii. That's my first trip to Hawaii. I hope it's not my last. I would love to go there again, but right now it's just I'm on a trek to hit all 50 states, and that was one that I haven't been to. And it was our 30th anniversary, and it was my wife's 60th birthday, and my 60th birthday is coming up, and just celebrating our life. We planned it for over 2 years and booked it a year in advance, and it was well worth it. We had a lot of fun. It was very cool. All right, so should we talk about stuff going on in the world? Again, you can also ask me questions in the chat. Let me see if I missed anything here. Jay Pylon's in the house, by the way. Good morning, sir. Let's see. There's no salmon. There is no salmon so I wouldn't be able to live there. Oh, there are plenty of substitute for salmon, though. Oh, the other thing we did, okay, you got me on things that aren't necessarily Hawaiian, but we went to eat. We went, one day we were out and about. I think we might have gone shopping or something that day. We had one day where we had strictly just kind of went through one of the towns that we wanted to go through, which is, was it Kona. Okay, basically the city of Kona, what they call it. And we spent a day there. There was a cruise ship that had come in, and we wanted to go to a bar. In fact, this right here, O'Brien's. O'Brien's is a bar and restaurant right near the water, right near one of the big resorts. That the owner is a big Green Bay Packers fan. And so she used to put out this Green Bay Packers flag every once in a while, and and people started making fun of her for it. And so when the more they made fun of her for it, the more she would just leave it out. So now it's out there full time, big Green Bay Packers flag outside of a restaurant, and that was also supposed to be one of the best places in the area to get fish and chips. And so we got fish. Some friend of ours told us that. And so we went there and got fish and chips there, and it was absolutely marvelous. And so I figured I'd get I didn't buy a whole lot of shirts that say Hawaii, but I did get a couple shirts from places that we went to go eat. But anyway, that was right in this little town of Kona. And then there was also a bar there that our tour bus driver, whatever you want to call him, recommended, called Shark Attack or something like that. And we went and had a cocktail there, and because one of the bartenders apparently there had a story about meeting the famous kind of ghost woman of the island. And so we went there and we went shopping. So anyway, we're coming back from that. We're like, this is a long day. We're driving north and we're trying to find a beach. And there was we went on TripAdvisor and said, okay, let's go to one of we tried to go find one of the beaches that the tour bus driver said. He said, oh yeah, if you go down this road, it's one of my favorite beaches. And we went down, I think we went down the road, but we must have went to the wrong beach, because the beach we went to was very rocky. Only had a little, section of sand, entry. Like a lot of the beaches, like for example, the Black Sand Beach, if you go in there, it's the floor of the water is all lava rocks. It's not a very good beach to go swimming in, but it's a great beach just for the scenery of a black sand. It's kind of a weird thing. But this beach we went to, it was pretty rocky, where we were looking, we're like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be one of the best beaches? Well, we didn't figure out until we left there that as we're walking, we looked way down to the other side, about 100 yards to the south of us. Then there was this nice sand beach that went around it with a cove, and we're like, oh, we should have been over there. So we go back, we're going home from that beach, and we're driving north in this highway along the coast. And we're like, well, we should go eat. Well, we've already been to several of the places that were in this little Waikoloa Village resort area. And so we said, well, let's just keep going and see what is up here. And then we looked on the map, and there's another supposed to be a really great sand beach, which that's eventually the one we went to. We're like, well, let's just keep going north and see what's up here. We don't have anything. We don't have to be anywhere. And so we drive north. We come to a T in the road. We go left, and there's this. About a mile down or mile and a half down. There's this little industrial town, and you know how in like if you see refineries, there'll be a bunch of giant tanks, storage tanks, whatever. We come into that area. And this town, all we see is all these storage tanks. We don't even look at the map to see where we're going. We just go. And these storage tanks are right near the beach. And right across the street from these storage tanks, we see a restaurant, like a ground floor restaurant. And then there's also a restaurant on a second floor above with a big old balcony. And all it says is Seafood Bar and Grill. And we're like, should we try it? Laura's like, yep, let's go try it. So you drive in, and then you have to drive up around the hill up to an upper parking lot, and there's this Seafood Bar and Grill. And we go in, place is packed. It's like one of those, it had a tiki bar theme, so it had all these like grass roof awning over the bar. It had a balcony outside, but if you go on the balcony, you're probably looking straight at a bunch of oil tanks. And we go in there, and we just like, it was packed, so we had to eat at the bar. And that place had something that my wife really likes. My wife loves escargot. She ate escargot almost every day. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Tyre, I'll get there. Okay, I'm going to get to that question. We go into, and when my wife took my daughter to France for her graduation, they had escargot a lot. And I'm like, why would you have escargot in Hawaii? That's just weird. And the whole thought of escargot kind of, it just weirds me out anyway. But she made me eat one, and it was good, but I still didn't want to eat anymore. But that place had the stuff we had there. They had some seafood fried rice and something, and a couple appetizers, and then this escargot. And that food was so good. It's just this little in the middle of nowhere next to a bunch of oil tanks, this great restaurant. Apparently it's one of the most, probably one of the most popular restaurants, again, for people who live there, mostly people who've moved from the mainland, but it was just packed and everybody loved it. And, so we were really pleased with that place. That was probably the best place we went to the whole time we were in Hawaii. And it's literally, you have to be looking for it to find it, or just happen upon it somehow. And then we realized that the actual town that restaurant was in was actually about another 2 miles up the road. So it's this restaurant, 2 restaurants in the middle of nowhere, boom. And it was the one upstairs was open, so we went to go eat there. It was fantastic. So if you ever go there. All right, let me go check my questions here, because I know I'm not doing very well on keeping up on that. Let's see. So Tyre put like 3 or 4 question marks so they're easy to see. If you have questions on the Ask Me Anything. But I know Tyre had something which I laughed at. So Tyre asked, if 4 turtles equal a clutch, how many pigeons are needed to lift Lizzo in the air and hold her for 5 minutes? Now, I'm trying to understand the question here, Tyre. So if 4 turtles equal a clutch, well, what kind of turtles equal a clutch? Because I don't know what a clutch is, first of all. But the pigeons, how many pigeons are needed to lift Lizzo in the air and hold her for 5 minutes? That's a simple question, Tyre. All of them. It takes all of them to do that. I hope I answered your question. I love salmon, but tuna steak is far superior. Oh, the ahi tuna, we had a place called, what was that place called? Something Bay. nice little restaurant. Had really good entertainers too, and we did karaoke at one bar one night at this place. I can't remember the name of the place though. I know I might even have a shirt from there. But yeah, they had a really nice. They had a really well. That's where we had the ahi tuna. It was ahi tuna. On a, what was that on a bed of? Was it rice maybe? But it was a slightly seared ahi tuna, rare ahi tuna, and it had a really huge. I mean, the scallop was like that big around. It was huge, like almost 2 inches in diameter, and it was about almost an inch thick. The most melt in your mouth scallop I think I've ever eaten, and it had a little sauce over the top of it. That was amazing, and I wish I could remember the name of the restaurant, but that was good. Let's see, 24 pterodactyls couldn't lift Lizzo. No, it's all of them. All of them. Okay, so Tyra has another question. If you drop a stone in the well and it hits the bottom in 5 seconds, how long would it take Lizzo to reach the bottom of the marina's trench? Well, that's a trick question. I can tell you that's a trick question. Because I think Lizzo is probably fairly buoyant, if you know what I mean. Doesn't fat float for the most part? So I don't think and if she takes a breath, I imagine she could float for all the way until she floats out to sea. All right, let's see. Can't find a beach in Hawaii. Okay, Lord Stanhope, it wasn't that we couldn't find a beach. There's multiple beautiful beaches. But the hard part is knowing which beaches to go to. Some of the beaches have rock, ocean floor, and sand floor. And so you really gotta pick the right beach. Or if you go to the beach, like the one we went to that we thought was one of the one the driver recommended, we didn't realize that you kind of had to hike for another, 100 yards before you were at the good part of the beach. So we're like, it was beautiful where we were. We hung out there for a little bit, and I actually, I went in the ocean. There's this one section where, you walk down to all these trees, and it's kind of a hidden beach. And you walk to the right, and there's about a maybe 150 feet wide section that is sand going to the ocean, and there weren't as many rocks at the bottom. You're mostly on sand, but you can stand on some of the rocks. But we just didn't know. We wanted to find a beach that was just all sand, zero entry. And the one we ended up going to for our beach day was really nice. It had about, when we got there, it had about 1 foot waves. And by noon, those waves had grown to about 3 foot waves. So it was really fun just kind of bobbing up and down in the water. And there's a few people snorkeling there, but that was a beautiful beach. And there was a whole bunch of those all over the island. We just didn't know which ones to go to. And we weren't really there necessarily to spend most of our time on the beach. So we just had our one day. All right, what else do I got here? During long surgery. Finding a beach. Okay, during long surgeries, the doctor will place a piece of pizza in the patient's stomach in case they get hungry, I heard. I've never heard of that. Oh, by the way, speaking of my surgery, which, as you know, I had my hip replaced the 2 days after I got back from Hawaii. And it was funny because the surgical nurse came in to check on me. I was in the hospital they kept me in the hospital overnight. I had an 8 a.m. surgery. Sometimes they send you home right away. Sometimes they don't. This one, they decided to keep me overnight. Just because, first of all, I'm a large human being. And the surgical nurse said, the doctor said, putting a new hip on me is quite the workout. Just because I'm a 6'4", 300-pound man. And he said he had to do a lot of manipulation. What they do, by the way, in this surgery, okay, if you're squeamish, just listen lightly. So what they do on a hip replacement surgery, they cut you open, right? and then they saw off part of the upper part of your femur. So they cut your bone off. They cut and just discard the top of your bone, and then they hammer a titanium like spike into the inside of the rest of your femur, right? They hammer that in. It has a ball joint, and then they sometimes they remove the old hip joint, or they just place a new socket, which they cut out part of my hip joint too, and they replace it with screws and whatever to a new socket that the ball on the ball fits into the socket, the new socket, right? So basically they're cutting off a part of your leg bone, throwing it away, and drilling in a new socket for that to place. And he said it was quite a workout with someone my size. And the surgery nurse who attended me, he comes in and he goes, yeah, he said that was quite a workout. And he said, or no, I had two different nurses. There was the woman who came in and she goes, yeah, when you were coming out of anesthesia, you kept asking, hey, what happened to all the palm trees? Because when I came out of anesthesia, I thought I was in Hawaii still. So that was funny. But, and then when the physical therapists come in, I was cracking jokes the whole time because they literally 6-7 hours after surgery, they come in and they get me up to walk. You had your hip replaced in the morning, and that afternoon they got you walking with a walker. So he helps me out of bed, get the big strap around me, and we get up to walk, and teaching me how to manipulate stairs and things like that. And then if they tell you what to do at home, so you don't necessarily have to do physical therapy, because I get up I was getting up every hour just to walk at least some steps. But I was cracking jokes the whole time. In fact, I made 2 of my little shorts videos while I was doing my first walk in physical therapy. And he was cracking up just because of some of the funny things I said. So again, follow me on Marty's Big Journey or Instagram. That's where I post all that shit. I don't, I'm Dawg Knight Channel is my political channel, and Marty's Big Journey is my personal channel, which I basically changed the description of this week, because now it's like we go places, and I tell jokes, and so you might get one or the other. Places we go, or whatever the joke is. Fat floats. That's what would happen as her carcass floats the Pacific. An entire ecosystem would develop around her blubber. Like whale. Yes. Okay. That was my point. She's not going to sink. All right. Let's see. Tyre Alexander. It would be instant since she would displace the entire ocean. Oh my God. LLP Dog. You should ask. Let's see. I'm trying to go through questions here. Oh shoot. Oh, this thing flipped all the way down. Hang on. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions here. Okay, I see that. I'm going to try to get back to where I was. More pigeons than exist. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, okay, skip that. Let's see. Tireless hitter, yeah. That would be instant. Okay. LOL, P-Dog said, ask him any questions. I am asking any questions. Oh, I'm fine with this, okay? If this entertains you, if people are not leaving the stream screaming, which we still have, we're down to 27 people. You must just chase some people away. I'm fine. I said, ask me anything. So I'm good with it. These are funny questions, actually. And what else do I have to do? I don't have to be anywhere. Why have we resorted to eating snails? That's a good question. I have no idea. I mean, the first person who saw a snail, just slowly slithering around said, I'm going to eat that shit. I have no idea. There's a lot of foods I wonder that with. Like there's certain fruits and vegetables that you go, who thought of eating that? Like some people, like the first person who ate or drank the cactus juice. It said, I gotta have me some of that. Who thought of that? I have no idea. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Avocado Stably. Have you been having any odd dreams about murdering people since you got the new hip? Large uptick in the missing person reports in the area. No, I haven't. I've only had one weird dream. Okay, hello, Jonathan Peterson, by the way. I've only had one weird dream since I've had my surgery, and that was I was riding on a train, and I'm looking out kind of forward, and or I'm facing kind of in the same direction the train is moving, and all of a sudden the ride of the train starts getting bumpy, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I look out the window forward and realize that the tracks of the train are like ended at all in disarray, and there's another train up there that's derailed, and then all of a sudden, whoa, I feel my whole body turning sideways because the train's flipping into the air, and then I woke up like all startled. That was weird, which I don't like that dream. I'm trying to figure out what the hell that dream means. Is my life about to get really rocky? I don't know. We'll see. Probably since I've been off so work. All right, move down. Thank you, Lord Stanhope, for the question. If a friend gifts me a bottle of Fireball, should I question their friendship? Hell no. Anyone who gives you booze as a gift is a good man or a woman or whoever. Let's see. Who was your favorite Ninja Turtle, P-Dog? Okay. That's tough. I am not necessarily a Ninja Turtle era kid. All right. I watched a lot of reruns of Looney Tunes when I was a kid, reruns of the Flintstones when I was a kid. That's kind of what the Saturday morning cartoons were mostly Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers, which I think that's the same thing. But they were reruns when I was a kid. But you played them all the time, so you get to know them all, and a lot of old Disney stuff. Ninja Turtles were kind of they come out in like the 80s. They were like, and then developed mostly in the 90s and the 2000s. But I thought everyone's favorite Ninja Turtle was Leonardo. We got a little bit when our kids were born, but I think maybe Leonardo was my favorite Ninja Turtle. All right, is that fossil turtle that was 8 feet wide and 12 feet long? I don't know what turtle you're talking about. By the way, when we went back to this Black Sand Beach on the bus tour, there were 4 or maybe 5 of the sea turtles that were sunbathing at the time, and one went back in the water. I got a lot of cool video of one sea turtle going back in the water. It took it 6 minutes from the beach to actually being in the water where it could just swim away. And it's really wild watching these sea turtles try to get back because it looks like they're struggling. And when they're on the beach, they look like they're, drooling dead things. And, but they're not. I mean, it's just they don't move well on land. And so they take their time, and they take a long time on land. But as soon as that thing got in the water, it just swims right away. But we got some video of one turtle going from the beach back into the water. And then I got another video of 2 turtles coming from the water and pulling themselves up onto the beach. So that was pretty cool. It's kind of cool to see. All right. Did you have a special final dinner before surgery? Well, let's see. When we got back, what did I do? Oh, no. We went to, we got back about 5 o'clock on Saturday, from, between our 3 flights that day. Cause we went into Honolulu, and then took a plane from Honolulu over to Kona. because we wanted to see Pearl Harbor before we left. So we planned it out so that when we left the Big Island at left the Big Island flight 7:30 in the morning to go over to back to Honolulu. And then our flight from Honolulu was not till 9:30 that night. So we spent almost the entire day at Pearl Harbor. Saw a lot of the exhibits there. And then we went and had a nice, just had some appetizers at a bar just to the north of Pearl Harbor. Flew back, got back after there were a couple transfers. We got back to the Twin Cities at about 5:00 p.m. and went out to the Trail Stop Tavern. I can't even remember if we ate though. But just had a couple cocktails there and some of our friends that were hanging out there, talked with them. No, I didn't have a special meal before we ate. I had breakfast in the morning, and that was the last meal I had before surgery. Technically, you can't eat 12 hours before surgery, but I didn't eat anything after breakfast. I think I had some eggs and sausage before my surgery, and that was my last meal, and drank water the rest of the day. And so no, but then it's wild though. Hospital food used to be pretty mid, but the hospital food at Fairview Southdale in Edina, Minnesota, actually was pretty good. And you kind of order off this menu and they'll bring you whatever you want after surgery. So no, I didn't have a special meal. I had that entire special week before my surgery. All right, let's see here. Let me looking for more questions. 12 different species of seabirds would live off lizard. Oh my gosh, we're still talking. Oh, I guess this was a while ago. That was the lizard question. He's avoiding my murder dreams question. I'm getting suspicious. No, are there missing people in the Twin Cities that I don't know about? By the way, while I was gone, and even since I got home, I've been fairly blissfully ignorant of what's happening in the world. I have been just paying attention to my rehab. I've been having fun making little short videos. I would check in on Twitter maybe once a day to see, to try to respond to any mentions, but I really didn't read the news, although I read a whole bunch today before I got to the show, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. And by the way, Joe Biden might be one of the biggest gaslighters on the planet right now, this shit he posts. But anyway, so I did not avoid your question, but I am now curious, is there a rash of missing persons in the Twin Cities? Okay, last question. This is from Ty Alexander. If life exists at the bottom of the sea, is it possible to find alien life in Tess Holliday's fat folds? Oh, here, hang on. Here, let me just take care of something here. Okay, I'm better now. Yeah, I don't want to think about what organisms might be in Tess Holliday's fat folds. I just don't want to think. I don't want to know. So let's just, next question. AAD. What was it like? Oh no, this is Cannibalistic Wizard. What was it like traveling on the Oregon Trail? Okay, you and Tyre need to get together. Actually, you know what? Part of the Oregon Trail, I think, goes through Nebraska. No, that's the Mormon Bridge. I don't know if that's the Oregon Trail, but I know it goes. I think part of it goes to Nebraska because I grew up in Omaha, and we had one of the bridges on the north side of town was called the Mormon Bridge, and it was commemorating maybe that's called the Mormon Trail. It was when John Smith or whatever his name was, they were traveling and ended up settling in Utah. So that's the Mormon Trail. I'll tell you what though, I think a cool if you ever had, are able to do it, I think a cool trip would be to take the whole route of the Mormon Trail over 2 weeks or so, just as a trip, just to see where they went. By the way, I get leg cramps, so I may have to pause every once in a while. I probably should get up and walk, but I'll do that a little. I can wait on that. I'd also like to drive Route 66 sometime. Just go from Chicago to LA on Route 66. That's supposed to be, I know a lot of people do that. That's an easy one, but that's supposed to be a cool trip too. All right. No, what was it like surviving the Donner Party? Okay. The Donner Party happened long after he went. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions. Wait, what was that? They used Milwaukee. Wait, molds aren't alien species. Oh my gosh. All right. They throw it away. Does it become pig food? I don't know. That's a real thought. Yeah, he was talking if they throw away my, the part of my femur they cut off. Does it become pig food? I wonder if they even throw them away. I wonder if I could call them and say, hey, can I get that? Can I just put it in glass or something that this was part of my body at one point? That'd be weird. Let's see. Could be scary. Orthopedic surgeons are beefy boys. No, my ortho guy is I would say he's about 70 years old. But he's one of the best ortho guys in the Twin Cities. He does work for the Vikings too. So the leg bone isn't connected to the hip bone. Well, not anymore. Now I am like Steve Austin. If you understand the reference to Steve Austin, put a 1 in the chat. Let's see. Okay, here's one from Lord Stanhope. When undergoing surgery, do you prefer Milwaukee, DeWalt, or Bosch? That's a good question. I do think they use something similar to a Sawzall to cut your bone off. That was the impression I got when I talked to the nurse. I didn't ask, but I think it might be a little more delicate tool. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, Brigham Young. I got you. Oh, Brigham Young, not John Smith. Okay, yeah, it flipped. I'm trying to stay in the questions here. Oh man, I'm way behind, aren't they? Oh, there we go. I'm okay. There we go. Have you been having any dreams about murdering people? Okay, I saw that one already. Are you allowed to keep the body parts they toss in the dumpster? I don't know. I'm curious. I bet you could. I don't know if that's, unless there's a law against it. You got to ask them before they get removed to be sure. Yeah, I probably too late for that. That can be said of any animal, though. Who thought of eating the first pig? Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what I was saying. Who thought of eating these animals? Although, look, thing is, though, let's say with other animals, and humans are, looking at these things. Humans observe things, and they observe what animals eat. So there are certain things you go, okay, it makes sense that you might have thought of eating that if you saw another animal eating it. So if a lion or, a hyena or whatever attacked a pig, I don't know if that's, whatever. There's other animals that eat other animals. So a human sees another animal eat another animal and say, oh, okay, that animal's probably safe to eat in some capacity. Same with fruits, vegetables, and things like that. You see another animal eating a fruit or whatever, they at least think that it's somewhat compatible to humans. Now, that's not always true. There's certain things that humans can eat that certain animals can't eat. There's certain things animals can eat that humans can't eat just for whatever reason. But humans usually humans being very inventive can find ways to eat things. But there are certain foods that I don't think anyone probably would have seen an animal eat necessarily. Like, we'll even take coffee for existence. So coffee I could see why humans might try to eat a coffee plant. Let me see if I can get a picture of a coffee plant. I'll show you pictures from that. Because, as we learned when we were at this chocolate farm, the coffee plant has this big, or not coffee, excuse me, chocolate plants. Okay, chocolate plants are really this big, beautiful kind of pod, right? And it's filled with seeds. And I'll show you in a second here. Let me pull that up. And so one of the reasons that the only way that chocolate plants are proliferated, like growing on, is that animals would break the pods and the seeds are covered with this. If you think about it too much, it looks kind of like this slimy goo, right? But there's these giant chocolate seeds in there. And when the animals break these pods and they eat the goo off the seeds, which is the fruit, and then they spit the seeds out. They don't spit the seeds. If you eat a chocolate seed, it's very incredibly bitter. And people figure out that if you roast these seeds, then you get this kind of the chocolate, whatever, the bases of chocolate. Excuse me. But so you can't necessarily eat the chocolate seeds, but you can eat the fruit, but you kind of just suck it off. We tried it. It was really good. Let me find it here. Just a second. What day was that? That was, let's say it was August 24th. No, before that. Where the hell is it? Oh, that was like the second day we were here. We stopped at the chocolate farm. So that would have been like the 17th, maybe 18th. It was before that. Okay. So, but then people figure out, if you cook the seeds, then you can make chocolate out of it, which somebody figured out along the way. And the same thing with coffee. Coffee was oh wait, here's a trivia question for you. Hello, Faithless. How you doing? Here's a trivia question for you. Where was the first coffee produced on the planet? Or in what area of the world did people figure out eating coffee? That's the trivia question. And here's a picture. Here's a picture of come on. There we go. So this is what the coffee or the chocolate plants look like. Maybe. There we go. Let's go. Wait, did I go to full screen? Hang on. Before I pop this on here. There we go. So this is what the chocolate plant look like. They're big, giant fruit-looking pods, right? And then in order to eat them, well, this is the chocolate farm we went to. This guy had a beautiful garden set up out here. Whoops, that's me and Lady Boomer. Let me see if I can show you where this guy showed us this. If I can find it. This is
it's just, yeah.
I know that's what you said, but now I feel like I need to try it.
There's some here if you want to try it.
Here, let's see. No. Is it this one? That ain't it. I want to show you the video of him cutting this open. Oh, here we go.
And
my name is James.
Hey, James. Nice to meet you, man.
I'm Laura.
Right. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Right. Where are you guys from? This is Ty.
Ty. Nice to meet you.
And he was born
Minnesota.
here in Waimea.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
My wife has that accent still.
Yeah.
How far north?
Twin
Minneapolis,
Cities. We're in
St. Paul.
central
Yeah.
south.
I used to go hang out at Gunflint up on the...
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I bought some jam up there.
Egypt?
Yeah, I
Nope.
did a bunch of-
Arabian Peninsula? Nope. Central America? Nope. Colombia? No.
Okay, here we go.
Juan Valdez? No. Ethiopia? Lord Stanhope wins.
This yellow one right here is called Forstero. This red one right here is called Trinitario.
Yeah, this guy had great facial hair. It's
This
awesome.
little wrinkled up one right here is called Criollo, and that's the world's rarest chocolate.
That's what the
10%
Belgians
of the
use.
world's chocolate, 95% of that is produced in the country of Belgium.
Oh.
They don't grow it there, but this is where they process. They've had this. This is what makes Belgian chocolate so famous.
Yeah, we have had that chocolate.
Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
These two right here, when I go through, I ferment, we harvest it, we dig all the stuff out, and we put it in a big fermenting vat for about 10 days, like making wine. Then we bring the seeds out and dry them in the sun.
I
Then
meant
we roast
cocoa.
them.
No,
And when you roast
no,
them, it's the
coffee,
first time you
Ethiopia.
actually smell the chocolate. It smells like brownies are cooking.
I asked coffee,
That's these two.
but this is
The
chocolate.
world's most common chocolate, 90% of the world's chocolate. This one right here, the Criollo, doesn't smell like chocolate at all. It smells like angel food cake or cotton candy. And it will bring flavors to your chocolate that you don't normally find in chocolate.
Okay.
But if you roast it all alone by itself, it doesn't even taste like chocolate.
Interesting.
But it is what the Belgians figured out 150 years ago as their blender, their secret. In 2006, we took this one.
Yeah, no
and we
coffee for
crossed
me.
it
I'm
with
drinking
this
orange
one,
juice.
pollinated it, and we came up with one that looks kind of like this, except for it has more of this texture.
I
It
have
is
sex
our
with it. I
hybrid,
don't.
and it's
I don't think
it's
you'd want to.
probably pushing 50% of our farm right now. These parts we actually use for compost, and for the longest time that 90% was compost too. Until last year, we threw in 5-gallon buckets of away all the time.
But then
my
all the Australians
gosh.
keep asking for it.
Yeah, and the Mexican people.
The people who were
That's what
there
they-
before us
Okay.
were from
And they'll
Australia.
take my 80, which when you buy a chocolate bar in the store, it's usually a 70%, which means it's 70% cacao.
It was amazing. We bought a bunch of this chocolate
They
too.
do use emulsifiers.
They're
and all kinds of
80%
stuff
dark
in their
chocolate.
and we
You know,
only
usually
buy
you
those
expect it to be
many
really
seeds.
bitter,
We don't put anything.
but they put that little rare.
Besides our
They
vanilla.
mix it with that rare
This
bean
is what when we
chocolate,
get done roasting
and it's just
dry it,
smooth as hell.
we-
I was really
after
wild
it's
to
been
even try
roasted,
it.
we crack it because there's a peanut shell. You can smell that.
They also grow vanilla at this farm. They have
wow.
40
To make
acres
that
of
into a
vanilla.
tea.
Cool.
And for
Oh.
18 years also that was compost. And
That's
then we
nice.
met a lady who said she bought it at the health food store.
Oh, that's great.
So
that-
you
yeah,
can make
that's
tea out
wild.
of it.
That
You
is
might need
wild.
to sweeten
Like
it.
that.
It's free if you'd like.
Oh,
some.
thank
Do
you.
they have sexual chocolate? That's
We've
funny.
been paying amends for throwing it in the ground for 18 years. We've been giving it away for a year and a half now.
Wow.
Then once we get done with the roasting, we have to crack it and get that shell.
So,
off
let's
that
see if
you're
they,
about to make tea out of. And then we grind it. And depending on our weather, if it's been really moist, we grind and it'll come out almost like syrup, like Hershey's
Walmart
syrup.
has great
If it's
value
been
brand
droughty
candy
and dry,
bars
it'll
now
come out
on the
like
cheap.
peanut butter.
They have a Hershey's
It'll
replacement,
be kind of thick.
Milky Way, Snickers, Kit Kat.
Depending on we
One, two
add,
others. They
actually,
do? I
if
didn't
it's
know
very
that.
dry, we actually have to add
When they
cocoa
get a
butter.
peanut butter cup, it's over.
But once we made this
Interesting.
stage, then we go into Mellinger's machines that have big granite wheels.
All right, is this the one? I want
Snaps.
to show you where he cuts one of these open, though, so you can see what it looks like on the inside. That might be the next video. Hang on. Oh, here we go. This is where he cuts it. So check this out.
I've been gone for a couple of weeks. So,
In this farm, they pick all their cocoa by hand. So see this? It has this
Thank
little
you,
weird,
So just grab one here.
yeah, and just bite it.
Don't
and
bite it.
they're little slimy looking things,
Oh wow.
but they're really sweet.
it's sweet.
Yeah, and fruity. Has
Very
kind of a
fruity.
tropical fruit flavor to it. So we dig all of those out. It takes us about 8 hours to do 2.5 tons. And if you do Instagram, you can see all of this happen.
We are definitely going to.
You will be able to see every bit of it.
Very fruity.
Right there is a tray, a little black tray with holes in it. You can spit your seed in there or punch your seed down into there. Any one of these little holes.
So he gives these.
Otherwise, those are
He opens a
chocolate trees
stand
right
on the
behind your
side of the
heels.
road, right
Yeah,
outside
this
his
one's
farm,
Yeah,
I heard that.
and
dirt up here and they spit it
he
out.
sells a ton of his chocolate just off of there. But then they sell it to a lot of local places, and it was. I mean, it is the smoothest chocolate I think I've ever eaten. His milk chocolate is amazing. The dark chocolate. Normally, you think of dark chocolate as being really bitter. Not at all. It was smooth as all get out. So, let me. Oh, there's my alarm for my next. Oh wow, it's 11:30. Oh yeah, I started late. I can hold off on that one. I'm not feeling a whole lot of pain right now. So anyway, let's see if there are any more questions. A lot of you answered one. Good. Let's see if I missed it. What questions I missed? P-Dog, did you hear about the Minnesota driver's license for all law? Yeah. So in Minnesota, we have a all Democrat legislature that's almost, well, it doesn't need to be veto proof because the governor is also Democrat. The House and the Senate are both Democrats. They're passing all kinds of crazy shit here. And I got one of the stories that I picked out is a little bit of backlash, but yeah, aren't they doing, anyone can get a driver's license whether they're legal or not. Yeah, that's going to lead to some problems because we also have motor voter. And I'm just curious how they're going to distinguish between driver's license of people who are illegally versus drives, because you're basically the way they do it here. I don't think I've registered to vote in a very, very long time. You renew your driver's license, that's when you renew your voter registration. So that's going to be a problem here. Do I have the butt cushion? No, I don't, because it's the surgery. Thank you, Kate, for asking, by the way. The surgery is actually on the side of my thigh. So the only problem is, and that's where the pain is, which I'm feeling a little bit right now. And so when I sit, for example, it feels like I'm sitting on, have you ever had a wallet in your back pocket and you have a whole bunch of extra crap in it, so your wallet's really thick and you sit on it and it aches after a while? When I'm sitting, that's what it feels like all the time. Like I have a giant wallet or just some lump of something in my pocket, and it's just uncomfortable. Subscribe, Dog Thrapple. Nice to see you. So, but no, I don't have a cushion because I'm not really sitting on my butt. Let's see. What am I missing up here? I'm going to scroll back just a little bit just to see what I missed. Him and Donatello. Okay, so I'm pretty close. Okay, if Lizzo and Tess Holliday had a baby, how long before the public noticed they're pregnant? It would be the world's best kept secret, Tyre. World's best kept secret. Okay, was there a smoking midget speaking in reverse? What is that? Okay, I missed something. I'm scrolling backwards on these questions, so apparently, I don't know. I don't know there. All right, let me scroll down to see if there's any more questions down here. Oh, you finally found out where Trail Stop is. Oh, yeah, it's at the end of Diffley, where Diffley meets 3. Okay, that's if you're a local to my neck of the woods. Yeah, it's where if you go east on Diffley until there's a T, there's a little little strip mall there, and Trail Stop is the first business in the strip mall. Great place. They have great food there too, Kate. I'm just telling you. One of these days we will meet there. You, me, and Lady Boomer, and whoever else you want to bring. Bring your son too. I want to meet him. Well, I'll probably meet him as soon as I go back to work because he's working the same shift I am. Just don't know what part of the building. All right. Known fact, that turtle was actually a massive coke fiend who had a tragic snorting accident. I don't know what that means. Hospital near me has amazing food, practically 5-star shit. Yeah, they've definitely upped their game at Fairview Southdale. Did your new hip come from a murdered karate instructor? And now the hip has a mind of its own and is leading you to its killer so it can kick them to death. No, because my hip is made of metal and ceramic. It's titanium. I don't think titanium sets off detectors in airports, but now that I've made my last trip through that thing where you got to go like this in the airport, you have artificial limbs, you go through the other thing. So I'm happy about that. Let's see. Scrolling down. Did you hear about the mayor in Minnesota that dismantled the police department in her county and got carjacked? Yes. In fact, let's review that one right now. That's pretty funny. And it's not the mayor, but here's the story that you're talking about. Prosecute them. Dem who blocked efforts to dismantle the police say she was carjacked in front of her kids. So this is her name is Shivanthi Sathanandan, the second vice chairwoman of the Minnesota Democratic Farm Labor Party. They call them the DFL here. They're just Democrats. Said in a Facebook post that she was violently attacked and carjacked Tuesday in front of her two children. Four men allegedly broke Sathanandan's leg, beat her with their fists and guns in front of her two young children at her Minneapolis home before stealing her car and fleeing the scene, she said in the post. Sathanandan, I'm just going to call her Rosanna Dana. Rosanna Dana, who previously backed efforts to reduce the police force, urged fellow Minneapolis residents to take their city back and take their city back. That sounds like, isn't that a dog whistle? Take your city back. And to prosecute violent criminals in her post following the incident. Quote, we need to get illegal guns off our streets. Notice the little phraseology there. She didn't say guns. She said illegal guns. We need to get illegal guns off our streets. Interesting phrasing there for a Democrat. Catch these people who are running wild, creating chaos across our city, and hold them in custody and prosecute them. Oh my gosh, she has seen the light. She is, congratulations. I had a joke about that once. What was the joke? A Republican is a Democrat who's been carjacked. That's pretty much it. Anyway, according to a police report obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation, Rosanna Dana sustained a major injury as well as possible internal injury, while another victim was not reported to be injured, and 3 other individuals were listed as witnesses, probably the children. Officers later found Rosanna Dana's car abandoned, according to the report. So here's, following meeting, this is sensitive content. Let me see how sensitive content this is. I'm going to take it off the screen for a second just to see if it's, it's just her with some blood on her face. I don't think this is too bad. This is educational content, YouTube. This is for, education and commentary. So here's her post. Carjackings continue to afflict the city this week. DFL second vice chairman, Rosanna Dana. Oh, that's Rebecca Brandon, she's a high officer in the DFL, was violently attacked and carjacked. This is okay. This is amazing because you know Minneapolis, St. Paul, whatever, Minneapolis mostly was at the heart of the defund the police movement, right? And during George Floyd and all that, and they reduced their police force, and they got other cops retiring, and so their police force is significantly down, and so it's become Carjack City, USA, as opposed to New Jack City. It's Carjack City. It looks like that looks like beet juice, not blood. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It does look a little sus, but I'm not going to say she didn't get it. But it is weird. Now, back in 2020, let's see. Rosanna Dana previously backed efforts in 2020 to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. Quote, we are going to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department, she wrote in 2020. MPD has systematically failed the black community. They have failed all of us. It's time to build a new infrastructure that works for all communities. If you are still disagreeing with that basic fact, I'm not sure what to say to you. Well, here, let me have your keys before I shoot your ass. That will change your mind. So Rosanna Dana thanked the Minneapolis police officers who helped her after the carjacking, according to the Post. Rosanna Dana and the Minneapolis Police Department did not immediately respond to the Daily Caller News Foundation for comment. So that seemed to be a karma is a bitch moment. I was going to say something else. Oh, question over here on Rumble. Thank you, Cannibalistic Wizard. Do you think the reason people drink boba tea is to slate their urges to slurp up tadpoles through a reed straw? Well, that's an interesting thing. I've never had a boba tea, so I don't know if that's it. I know they're little. What are they? They're like little tapioca balls, right? Is that what it is? And for some reason that gives people pleasure. I don't know if drinking boba tea urges people to slurp is because of people's urges to slurp up tadpoles. I would say women probably drink it more than men. Ladies, don't get mad at me. That's some funny shit to me. I don't know. Maybe. Let's just say it's more natural. Anyway, thank you, Gunfox61, back in the house, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. I appreciate it. Every penny counts. And he says he has some breaking news. Well, let's see what the breaking news is. Okay. Let's see. I clicked the wrong one. Another Hamilton from Gunfox61. Yes, you still are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. I got the wrong article. Go. Let me hear. Hold up. Okay, this is breaking news. Well, here's some breaking news. Brad Raffensperger does not want to keep Trump off the ballot in Georgia. Well, I'm telling you, he may have a constitutional issue anyway of doing that. Again, the criteria for running for president are clear in the Constitution. And I'll tell you what, they're going to do their damnedest. If you've been watching, I've been watching the sentencings of some of these people, just fucking ridiculous and all appealable. But they're going to try to say that Trump led an insurrection, right? That's the only way that they can do it. And that's what all these lawsuits are about. They're trying to get him out the paint. But breaking news, Brad Raffensperger doesn't want to keep Trump off the ballot. Georgia election law clearly gives the Secretary of State the power who determines to qualify to be on the ballot. No. That's not true. I'm going to beg to differ. As primary season approaches, the question of whether former President Donald Trump could be disqualified under the 14th Amendment has become a major issue. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger weighed in Wednesday with an op-ed published in the Wall Street Journal with the headline, "I can't keep Trump off the ballot. He's right." Despite that headline, the Republicans' piece is more about how he shouldn't block Trump and less about whether he could, but arguing that he shouldn't and can't. Raffensperger is wrong on both counts. Oh, okay. Because they keep calling it an insurrection. But it's not. It's chiffon. Anyway, despite that headline, the Republicans' piece is more about how he should, blah, blah, blah. Under Georgia law, he doesn't have the power to keep Trump off the ballot. He has the responsibility to do so. Okay, so this is an MSNBC editorial, just FYI. The 14th Amendment passed in the aftermath of the Civil War is most often cited for its clauses about due process and natural born citizenship. Section 3 says no person who's sworn to support and defend the Constitution but then is engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid and comfort to enemies thereof can hold federal or state office. I'm sorry, that bullshit on January 6th was not an insurrection. It just wasn't. Hi, Brett Hayes, by the way. And Damian Gershwin, what's up? Nice to see you. And look, Gunfox, I know what you're doing here. You are trying to get me to rant. And this stream today, as I've already mentioned, is called, what is it called? It's something about chill. It says, my stream is, it's Friday, let's chill. Okay. Yeah, this, you're this close. You're this close. That was not, okay, it was not an insurrection. So this whole MSNBC article is saying why that he has a responsibility to keep Trump off the ballot. No, he doesn't. Anybody can run for president. Anybody can run for president. And yes, hi, Gun Fox. Nice to see you, my brother. And I appreciate you more than you know. That really helps a lot. Let's see. Let's look at the other one. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is on the Readout blog. Thank you. This is the other article that Gun Fox sent me. You tried to kill me, boss. You tried to kill me. The Readout blog was this Joy Reid's blog. I don't know who wrote this, but Florida is on the verge of allowing a right-wing alternative to the SAT. Students soon may be able to take a classic learning test touted by conservatives for reinforcing Western ideals for entry into Florida's colleges and universities. That sounds like a good thing to me, right? Marty's painkillers are strong enough to keep him ready. Oh, not anymore, because I finished my prescription of oxycodone on Monday, and you know what? It didn't really affect me like that. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I've already talked about the pills so far, but I'll tell you a little more. Anyway, coming soon. Okay, Florida, an alternative college entry exam backed by the state's right-wing governor. Look, a college entry exam. The SAT, ACT, whatever, all it tells you if you learn something and can reason, right? There's no, like, if you look at the SATs and you look at the ACTs, there's nothing that has anything to do with, you know, your political affiliation or your knowledge of history or civics or anything. They're basically math logic, okay, on one side, and the other is reading comprehension. And those determine, you know, your success in college. And for the most part, they are a pretty good measure of your ability, not necessarily a measure of whether you be successful, but a measure of your ability. And that's what it is. So I'm curious about the classical learning test he's talking about here. And again, this is MSNBC, so you're going to get a very hard left-wing slant. All right? Florida's public university system is expected to green light the classic learning test, an exam typically used by homeschooled students and accepted by Christian schools. But Florida officials, including DeSantis, have advocated for the CLT to be used as a more widespread college entry exam in Florida in place of the SAT, which is administered by the College Board or the ACT. DeSantis and his administration have warred with the College Board primarily over its advanced placement course on African American history amid the administration's effort to remove references to social justice movements, whitewash acts of racist violence. Whose racist violence, though? Everybody's racist violence or just some people's racist violence or historical racist violence? Anyway, and downplay the impact of slavery on black people. No. Nobody in the planet is saying that slavery was good. I'm just saying, nobody is saying it was good. Okay, nothing good about it. Okay, they did mention that some slaves survived after the end of slavery because they had some skills they learned during slavery, which is true. It's a fact. I mean, does that make slavery good? No, it doesn't. Just like I said before, if I burn my hand on a stove, I know how to act around fire more than someone who hasn't burned their hand on a stove. Useful knowledge, but doesn't make burning my hand on a fire good. In fact, I would highly recommend anyone else avoid burning their hand in a fire by teaching them not to put their hand in the fucking fire. Okay? That's how I treat the treatment of slavery in that particular one tiny little millisecond of learning that some slaves survived after slavery because they had some skills and they could. Others didn't do so well because they were maybe just picking certain fruits and vegetables and whatever. And so maybe they didn't do as well. So that's all that whole section of the Florida learning said. Anyway, and as NBC News reports, DeSantis has shown support for the CLT by signing all bills this year that open the state's Bright Futures College Scholarship Program to accept classic learning test scores in addition to ACT and SAT results to determine eligibility. So, I mean, if they're using it for homeschooling already and they accept it for those kinds of things, why wouldn't you use this? I'm just curious because, it's probably racist. They'll find a way to make it racist. Let's see. Promoting CLT as an alternative to SAT and ACT could be another way to further marginalize traditionally underrepresented voices. How? Are you saying there's no black homeschool? Because hello, Robert Gruber, how you doing? Standard tests don't measure anything when it comes to intelligence. Well, that's not so true, actually. It measures what they mostly measure what you learned. Yeah, it's okay. In order to learn the things on these standard tests, it measures some form of intelligence because you have to have a level of intelligence to have been able to learn those things at a certain level. I guess technically it doesn't measure intelligence, but it kind of does in a secondhand sort of way. But it also, look, there is absolutely a correlation though to correlation causation doesn't mean other people won't be successful, but people who score high on the SAT and ACT also tend to do well in college. But there are a lot of people who score poorly who do well in college. So it's not it's not the only factor that should be concerned about when you're determining, what school fits what kid the best. And look, there's plenty of people who spent a couple years in junior college and went to some small, unknown state school that turned out to be very brilliant people and very successful in life. So I say I think a school has to be a good fit for a person and it has to have some value. Unfortunately, what happens, by the way, welcome to the show, Robert Gruber. Unfortunately, you have to, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Unfortunately, our schools are teaching a lot of shit that people don't need. I think you could cut down all college into 2 years if people who are going for a specific skill or major would just work within those majors. You know what I mean? For example, if I'm going to school for accounting and, I've come out of high school and I can read and write, whatever, is it really important for you to indoctrinate me into gender theory and, and have classes just to fill out your numbers, like taking a course in bowling because you want to fill out credits so you can graduate? I think that's bullshit. That just makes college more expensive for everybody. Why not allow people who are going to major in something that they're doing for a specific field of learning? If you're in accounting, how about being able to take all your accounting classes in a couple of years and whatever math or whatever you need to do, and then be done and not have to take all the other bullshit. College has become high school remedial learning. It has. It's crazy. So anyway. All right. Now, let's see. Let's go back in this article. Promoting CLT as an alternative, blah, blah, blah. The Miami Herald describes the CLT curriculum as one that has existed for decades and emphasizes a return to core virtues and subjects like math, science, civics, and classical text. Oh, no! No, no, no! Not traditional text. It puts a strong emphasis on the centrality of the Western tradition. Well, we are a Western country, so there you go. Or a historical focus on white Western European and Judeo-Christian foundations and demands moral virtue of its adherents. Well, the test doesn't. What the fuck are you talking about? The New York Times, oh yes, let's use the New York Times as a reference. The New York Times describes the curriculum as one that places emphasis on Western canon and Christian thought. The Times included a sample test that you can take here. Interesting. Earlier this year, at top a top educational official in Florida was clear in framing the classic learning test as part of Florida's assault. It's an assault on inclusive curricula. David Mack, who at the time was serving as senior chancellor of Florida's Department of Education, tweeted CLT, not CRT, a reference to critical race theory. In February, as reports emerged that officials were looking to use classical learning tests in college admissions, Mack's role as a senior chancellor gave him immense power over Florida's institution of higher learning. So they're not happy about this. MSNBC is not is not happy about this. Look, I don't care. I want to know if someone has an ability to learn, whether they're doing it through CLT or CRT or whatever, if they have the ability to learn and think for themselves when all's said and done. And so I don't. If they're worried about people can read and learn and understand what they're reading, I think people will be more successful. And as far as like math and science, you need just enough math and science as you need for a career and able to do your taxes. So I don't know. Our school system's kind of fucked up in that way. We're trying to, unfortunately, too many people are trying to politicize learning versus just giving kids the ability to read, to calculate the things that they need to do in life, to be able to think and make decisions, and then also practical things. And so we could certainly, in my opinion, we could easily streamline that whole college thing. It's just a gravy train for Democrats right now, just to be perfectly honest. And they're indoctrination factories, and so it's really tough. If primary schools were doing their job to begin with, none of that would be necessary. Whatever you just answered to, you are 100% correct. Marty, in 10 to 15 years, I'll likely get my hip replaced, or need to get my hip replaced, if not sooner, due to damage from my rack. I'll tell you what, I waited, you're saying 10 to 15 years. I'm just telling you, Gunfox, I waited too long. I should have done this. I should have had this done 5 years ago when I was I was starting to feel pain, or at least get it checked 5 years ago, and my doctor would have recommended it. So, for example, my other hip, my right hip, he's looking at the X-rays. It's almost as bad as my left hip, and while he was doing this one, he was saying, I didn't hear him because I was under anesthesia, but he's saying, yeah, we'll be doing that one pretty soon too. And as I look at the X-rays and look how little cartilage is, despite the fact that I have zero pain in my right hip, I probably will be having my right hip done within the next 2 years. And although my wife says I will be, and I say I probably will be, but if I even start having a hint of pain in my right hip, I'm going now, because I'm so glad I did this. Right now, the pain that I have now, the pain I used to have before I had this surgery, and I've had for years, was clearly in the joint. I knew it was in the joint. You can tell, where that pain is coming from. The pain I have now is just in my thigh where they cut my leg open and did all the manipulation. But that's because that leg is healing. And I can feel that get better every single day. And so I don't know why I have this on the screen still. I'm very, very happy I did it. The second one is going to be a lot earlier than the first one when it comes to pain. If I'd have done this 5 years ago, it would have been unnecessary. So there is absolutely no pain in my joint right now, which is great. So I just don't have range of motion because of my muscle. Go to Marty's doctor. He gave him a dead karate instructor. Said, no, he didn't. He gave me something made out of metal and ceramic. All right. I'd be happy if the kids were just smart enough to know not to stick a fork in an electric socket. Yeah. No, I just want people to be able to live their lives, do things they want to do, and have the exchange of be able to exchange their knowledge and abilities to make a living and live a good life. and maybe have a little money left over where they can drive around and look at cool stuff, or fly to someplace and look at cool stuff, or whatever. My kids, fortunately, have are on that path, and so I'm really proud of them. All right, so Godfox, again, thank you for the double deuces or the double Hamilton. Greatly appreciated. Remember, you are the sponsor of this show, the Morning Night Live. Is there a if you want to donate to the show, you can do that. Look, super chats and rumble rants, make that if last resorts, unless you have specific reasons why you don't like to use those. I really appreciate it when you use Streamlabs, and you can use PayPal or credit card at Streamlabs. It's they take less of the money that you give to me for their own profit than the other two choices. So if you see the StreamStab Superstar sponsor link in the chat every once in a while, and you're able to, please sponsor the show. If you're not able, that's cool too. This show is free. I appreciate it, but it does help if you're able. So, all right, let's see what else here. Marty, you want a rabbit hole? Look up the Yellow versus the Union drama. Okay. We'll have to figure that one out. The Yellow versus Union. Yellow versus the Union. Okay, we'll check that out. All right, I do have a couple articles open. What time is it? 12. Oh my gosh, how long have we been doing this? I'm in here how long? Am I over 2 hours yet? Where's my timer there? I have a timer somewhere. I don't even know what time I started. I started 11. Oh, so I started at 10. So yeah, we're just at 2 hours. I'm okay. I do got to take my meds. Not much drama there. They just shut down to avoid dealing with them. You know, the things that so I'll tell you the things I've heard about. Moms for Liberty is going to sue the SPLC. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me pull up some of the stuff I'm doing. Let's just real quick, because one of the things that I did see a lot about, or some about, while I was gone, was this sentencing in a lot of these January 6th trials. The Proud Boy guys and shit like that are just completely ridiculous. Okay. And again, I think everything that's happening in the DC trials of the Jan 6 people and whatnot, it has a overreaching purpose to put Donald Trump in jail or to not make it so he cannot run for president. That's the only purpose of it, because the charges are complete bullshit to Trump. And for a lot of the January 6 defendants, they would have been, if it had been any other cause, they would not be having the verdicts and sentencing they're getting. Now, so there's a great article here in Legal Insurrection that I saw this morning. DOJ crushes January 6 defendants, excuses BLM rioters since a, quote, riot is the language of the unheard. Interesting. Riot is the language of the unheard. We had January 6 riots. That's the language of the unheard. And then they dismissed all those court cases except for one that was still pending, and a couple other things. So anyway, so the BLM riders are super duper special, like COVID. Got to treat them different than anyone else. So the Washington Examiner's Brian York pointed out the absurd treatment of the DOJ doles out for those participating in BLM riots, even if murder or manslaughter is involved. This absurd treatment is giving them light sentences while destroying the January 6 defendants for their riot, which didn't hurt anyone or anything except for some feelings of sensitive politicians. Oh, that's wild. Well, they did break a couple things and they injured some police officers, which they should be prosecuted for. But other than that, it was a protest, okay? People walking into a building and walking out, or some people who weren't even there that got sentenced 22 years. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on, man. So here's BLM rioter Montez Lee. Here's an example. York brought up Montez Lee, a Rochester, Minnesota resident, on May 28, 2020, Lee and others broke into a pawn shop to protest the death of George Floyd. It ended in the death of a man who had 5 children. Lee then poured liquid and accelerator from a can all across the floor. Lee then lit the flyer. More videos showed him boasting shortly about it, or afterwards, about what he had done. Fuck this place, Lee said. We're going to burn this bitch down. Video then showed, according to government documents, Lee and others joking about restaurants they're going to hit next. The store lay in ruins. Then a few days later, a woman reported that her son was missing. Police discovered that his car had been found near the pawn shop. They searched the rubble and found the body of Oscar Stewart, a 30-year-old man who had 5 children. An autopsy showed that Stewart died of burns and smoke inhalation. The death was ruled as a homicide. Lee had a lengthy rap sheet, including burglary, assault, and theft. Lee pled guilty to 1 count of arson, which is a felony, and that's it. But that charge alone meant 20 years in prison, right? Not so fast. Instead, the DOJ recommended Lee get 12 years. The judge decided 10. 10 years for ransacking and burning down a store, along with a man losing his life, no manslaughter charge. In cases of felony murder where the defendant did not intentionally or knowingly cause the death of someone, a downward departure may be warranted. How does one choose a departure? The extent of the departure should be based upon the defendant's state of mind, e.g. recklessness or negligence, the degree of which risk inherent in the conduct, and the nature of the underlying offense conduct. Lee was such a good boy for admitting his actions to the ATF and taking responsibility. Plus, you guys, the riots showed us people who felt angry, frustrated, and disenfranchised, and who are attempting, in many cases, in an unacceptably reckless and dangerous manner, give voice to those feelings. Yes, again, it's the language of the unheard. After all, Dr. Martin Luther King once said that we've got to see that a riot is the language of the unheard. Wow, I'm on a thought train with Dr. Martin Luther King. Now let's go to some January 6th defendants. The authorities arrested Nathan Earl Hughes of Fayetteville, Arkansas last week. He faces a felony offense of civil disorder and misdemeanor offenses of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds, and impeding passage through the Capitol or buildings. Now, what did Hughes do? Nothing violent or deadly like Lee. Court documents say that at various points, Hughes pushed against the police line in the tunnel and helped other rioters physically fight police in an attempt to breach the line and enter the U.S. Capitol building. At approximately 3:15 p.m., Hughes was at the mouth of the tunnel and signaled the crowd of rioters, come on, while waving his hand in the direction of the tunnel. After signaling to the crowd, Hughes entered the tunnel and charged toward the police line. Inside the tunnel, Hughes continued to signal others to enter and confront the police line. Hughes then stood shoulder to shoulder with others and began to rock back and forth in a synchronized movement with the crowd. At about 3:15 p.m., Hughes assisted the mob with forcefully removing police riot shields and passing them out of the tunnel. Hughes also personally attempted to forcefully pull away police shields and pass them out of the tunnel back. I said that twice. Well, they wrote it twice. Why? I don't know. At approximately 3:19 p.m., as Hughes was forced out of the tunnel by police, he was observed using his elbow to strike in the direction of police. After he was pushed out of the tunnel, Hughes remained in the vicinity of the tunnel for at least 90 minutes, encouraged other rioters to pull them out. Earlier in the day, Hughes had witnessed the mobs forcibly pulling police officers from the tunnel and into the crowd. In the Post, literally published a day before New York's Post, I wrote that this rhetorical statement. I don't know why the FBI keeps doing this, because it just reinforces every non-leftist knowledge that they are treated differently than the BLM and Antifa and every other leftist rioter. So I'm confused. They didn't say what his sentence was. I'm more worried about the grannies and other people who, some people weren't even there. 22 years for Tariq Tarrio. Is that his name? Not Tariq. Enrique Tarrio. 22 years. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. He In fact, they pulled him out before he even got there. He was not in the vicinity. And they gave him 22 fucking years, saying that was because it was a conspiracy. And they were trying to get him 33 years. He should have none. He wasn't there. Didn't organize an insurrection. This is crazy. This shit's crazy. All right. Let's see. What else do I got? I'm going to do a couple more and then I'm going to get out of here. I might do another stream this afternoon. Everything right now is fluid. I don't know what I can and can't do. I've probably been sitting too long. I can feel this getting stiff. Oh, this is one that caught my eye though this morning. Though this is Biden administration cancels remaining oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic refuge. So during the Trump administration, they opened up a bunch of gas leases because these oil and gas lines in the Arctic refuge are like a postage stamp on a mattress at best. Not even on a mattress, even worse than that. Maybe a post mattress on the roof of a small office building. That's the stamp, and they don't. That's the reason that the Trump administration approved the leases. Well, the Biden administration has canceled all the remaining 7 oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, overturning sales held in the Trump administration waning days and angering Republicans. That's the sub-headline. In an aggressive move that angered Republicans, the Biden administration canceled the 7 remaining oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge on Wednesday, overturning sales held in the Trump administration's waning days and proposed stronger protections against development on vast swaths of the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. The Department of Interior's scrapping of the leases comes after the Biden administration disappointed environmental groups earlier this year by approving the Willow Oil Project in the Petroleum Reserve, a massive project by ConocoPhillips Alaska that could produce up to 180,000 barrels of oil a day on Alaska's petroleum-rich North Slope. Protections are proposed for more than 20,000 square miles of land. It's 52,000 if you're going to, kilometers of land in the reserve in the Western Arctic. Some critics who said the approval of Willow flew in the face of Biden's pledge to address climate change, lauded Wednesday's announcement, but they said more could be done. Well, of course they said more. They could shut down every oil production in the entire United States. They could do that, right? They'd be fucked if they did. So would we, but you know what I'm saying? Litigation over the approval of the Willow Project. So they're going to try to sue the Willow Project being approved by Biden administration. Holy shit. Alaska is home to many of America's most breathtaking natural wonders and a culturally significant areas as the climate crisis warms the Arctic more than twice as fast as the rest of the world. Gee. The places that are coldest are warming the fastest. That's fascinating. I don't know how that works. I can't imagine. It's bullshit. We have a responsibility to protect this treasured region for all ages, Biden said in his statement. Everything's a crisis for this motherfucker. He will blame everything on a crisis. And you know what they say? Can't let a good crisis go to waste. But they make everything a crisis. And then when they make everything a crisis, the companies that thrive off of crisis, who get richer and richer off of crisis, well, they all just happen to have stock in those companies. Isn't that fascinating? His actions meet the urgency of the climate crisis, again, and will protect our lands and waters for generations to come, Biden said. No, it won't. Won't do anything other than make less oil production and fuck us over even more. By the way, they're having, it's funny there. So, someone at a press conference with Latrine Jean-Pierre asked, shutting down these oil leases in Alaska they were supposed to be refilling. Were they going to use the strategic oil reserve to help keep prices lower? Because obviously gas prices have been going up lately if you haven't bought gas in a while. And, she gave some bullshit answer that really wasn't an answer, and how, let me be clear, we're doing everything because we're perfect. She wouldn't answer that question, though. And another problem is that we have used a lot of the strategic oil reserve that when Trump was in office, they basically topped off, so to speak, because oil prices were low. They did it at low price. Well, guess what? When they've used it to supplement gas prices in the short term now, they're refilling their oil reserve. It's costing them a lot more to do it now. And that's not what the strategic oil reserve is for. This is not an emergency. They're just using it to try to, make people feel better instead of fixing their fucking policies. Did I just swear? Did I just swear? Anyway. Anyway, that article will be in the links. I'm not going to read anymore. Oh, yeah, I remember that bus company. We talked about this. Wow, we talked about this 3 weeks ago. But this is in the Washington Examiner that Philadelphia bet big on Biden's favorite bus company. Remember when Proterra kind of was going belly up because they suck? Well, apparently it's costing the city of Philadelphia a shit ton of money too. Biden, let's see. Philadelphia's Public Transportation Authority could lose the $24 million it spent to acquire a fleet of Proterra electric buses after the Biden-backed green energy company declared bankruptcy. So cities that ordered buses and already paid for them might be screwed. The Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, which manages Philadelphia's public transportation system, in 2016 purchased 25 Proterra electric buses for nearly $1 million each. The fleet faced an array of issues. One even burst into flames last year, prompting SEPTA, which is the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, which it sounds like something you take a poop in. But anyway, prompting SEPTA to sideline the buses and negotiate with Proterra to repair them. But after Proterra declared bankruptcy in August, the green energy company abruptly canceled the repair negotiations, SEPTA told the Philadelphia Inquirer. As a result, SEPTA does not know when the buses will be back on Philadelphia streets, and it could lose the $24 million it spent on the buses. Oh, that's so sad. The ordeal comes as an embarrassment to President Joe Biden. Okay, wait. Let me ask you something. Should the word embarrassment and the name Joe Biden in the same sentence, shouldn't that just be a given? That's super redundant to me. Embarrassment and Joe Biden. That's perfect. That's perfect. The ordeal comes administration reportedly promoting Proterra, even as Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm held 240,000 shares of the company. Well, she sold her shares before it went bankrupt, so I think she made a little profit on that. So good for her. Biden took part in an April 2021 virtual tour of the Proterra facility, saying during the event that the company was getting us in the game. Biden, whose $19 trillion infrastructure plan included billions to boost the electric bus industry, later praised Proterra in a March 2022. So anyway, Philadelphia and probably a lot of other cities are fucked because Biden promoted Proterra and Proterra went belly up. And so they can't get their buses fixed anymore, and they probably won't be able to use them anymore. So it's a big waste of money for a city that probably is already in the red. All right, moving on. I'm not going to read this article, but it's a good article explaining why the Earth, it's a climate change article, the Earth doesn't have an average temperature. Let me get the first line. Frequently I read where politicians like John Kerry, Al Gore, Joe Biden, or Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the UN, has stated, we must keep the increase of the average temperature of the Earth to 1.5 Celsius or less. It has already risen 1.1 since the beginning of the industrial age. The implications of such a statement is that the Earth is on the path to thermal destruction if we humans don't take action to save the planet. Crisis, right? Crisis. Aside from exhibiting the height of man's hubris to think that we could control any basic aspect of nature, such a statement demonstrates either a profound ignorance about fundamental physics or an intent to deceive. I suspect it's both. Here's the main thrust of this. The concept of an average temperature of the Earth is a figment of the climate scientist imagination conjured up to try to prove a fraudulent hypothesis. And it goes through this article goes through this very well. I read it earlier, but like I said, the Earth doesn't have it. If the Earth as an average temperature, like if you go from as far as we can think back and measure back 180,000, 200,000 years, we're below the average temperature. If you add it all together, fuck faces. That's why the Earth is warming. Again, global warming ever since the Ice Age. That's my slogan. Global warming ever since the Ice Age. Anyway, so it goes through this in great detail, which I am not going to do today. Next, all right, I'm just going to close this. I'm not opening any more articles. Oh, I know a lot of people are talking about this too. It has an average temperature. It does not have a normal temperature. Exactly. There is no normal temperature of Earth. This is the greatest irony, and I think I want this to bite Democrats. Yes, I don't know if it will. Right now, like in the presidential politics, if Joe Biden actually runs for president again, which I say no, it's not going to happen. They're going to get him out too. They're going to find a way. He might come down with a sudden illness. He might fall and hit his head and have to be whatever, but they are not going to allow him to run. But right now they don't have anyone. There's no one running against him. So if he actually makes it through this term and runs for president in 2024, right now just about any Republican could beat him according to polls. Okay, any Republican could beat him, but Donald Trump for sure. I mean, it says they're tied at 46. Look, this is like Jimmy Carter. I was ninth grade. Was it ninth grade? Let's see, ninth grade, 10th grade. I was a sophomore in high school during the 80 election. And in ninth grade, and I didn't follow politics like I do now, but everyone knew nobody wanted Jimmy Carter to be president again. Nobody wanted Jimmy Carter to be president again. And it's just like right now. Nobody wants Joe Biden to be president again. Not even Democrats. Okay. Joe Biden runs for president in 2024. He ain't getting no 81 million fucking votes as if he did the first time. Or he did. That's what the numbers say he did. I'll just say he got the 81 million votes. He ain't getting it the second time. Okay. If he's the candidate, I guarantee the turnout for Democrats, even if it's Donnie T, okay, if it's the guy with the funny hair, even if it's him, Democrat turnout is not going to be good because you got shit like this going on. Eric Adams in New York City. New York City, get a rope. I got to be careful because black man's a mayor. Can't say get a rope. That's an old, is it Old El Paso or Pace picante sauce. Okay. They had a commercial back in the 70s when they were talking about picante sauce, Pace picante sauce. And they had said this thing. They had this commercial. Where is this picante sauce made? Wait, this picante sauce made in New York City. And his friend says, get a rope. But if I say get a rope now, well, I'm a black man, so I can say whatever the fuck I want and probably get away with it. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Eric Adams declares illegal immigration will destroy New York City. It's going to come to your neighborhoods. Oh my God. Who does that sound like? Does that sound like a Democrat? Let's see if they got a video on this.
110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets.
Yes.
Give them everything they need, health care. And this team here.
Oh my God.
We stated, let's do everything.
Wait, hold up. Mr. Mayor. So 110,000, he says. Haven't 5.5 million come across the border since the Biden administration came into office? 5.5, something like 5. Is it 5.5 million? Something like that. He's talking about 110,000 in New York City, sanctuary city, where it says we give sanctuary to illegal aliens. Okay. Hello, Faithless. What's up? Nice to see you. He's concerned. And where they come? How are we getting so many right now, Mayor Adams? Whose administration is running the border right now?
Before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you.
Yeah.
Well, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis.
Yes, crisis.
And we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something,
now
New Yorkers.
Now, when he says crisis in this case, well, imagine. Think about El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas. What, does it have even 1/10 of the population of New York City? Do you think there's 100,000 migrants in El Paso, Texas? I bet you there are. He's talking about New York City. What is New York City is our biggest city. You should have these resources. You invite them there. You are a sanctuary city. But you're talking about 110,000. And there's going to be more because I wish I would save the video. This guy was down in the border and they round up all these migrants and they have them sitting there waiting to be processed. And this guy's going through an interviewing wall. And he's asking them where all of them are from, okay, and where they're going to go, okay? And literally, he asks about 30 in this video. Half of them, now, mind you, asylum seekers crossing our southern border on foot. About half of them were from India. Now, India, they walked here from India. Now, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck they walked here from India. And the other half were from Senegal. They walked here from Senegal. So apparently, I have this theory, and I've had it for a long time. I've probably said it out loud more than once. Oh, by the way, and they asked all of them where they're going to go. Okay. Almost all of them said either New York City, Chicago, or California. Just random California. A lot of them said New York City. So New York City, that 110,000. But how the fuck are they getting here from India, crossing our border illegally, or Senegal crossing our border illegally? My theory is that now there is a border tourism industry right now where people know all over the world, because I tell you what, so a large percentage of the asylum seekers, a large percentage of the asylum seekers are crossing our border on foot from countries that they would have had to fly across or float across water to get to somewhere south of our border first. It's an industry. Of course, Coyote's gone global. Exactly, Faithless. There's a whole. It's I don't even know what you call invader tourism. Okay, because these motherfuckers from India and Senegal sure as hell didn't walk here. And you know what? If you're going to call these people asylum seekers, which is fucking bullshit, especially if they're from India or Senegal, both fairly developed countries. Well, India especially. I mean, Senegal, though, is in Africa is pretty developed. They're not seeking asylum. So if you are processing these motherfuckers and let them stay in the country, why? You know they're not going to make it through an asylum trial. They're not seeking asylum. They should immediately be deported. Probably back to their home countries. There's no war going on in Senegal. There's no war going on in India. So why the fuck are we even processing these people? They should immediately be, nope, you're out. You're not even close to the rules of seeking asylum, since you're supposed to seek asylum in the most contiguous nearby country that is, solves your problem. Well, guess what? You don't cross an ocean to seek asylum. We send every one of these motherfuckers back home. I see Faith is, and they should have to pay for their relocation back home. I don't even care if we pay for that, because it's costing a lot more to house them here. There was some that protest in Long Island the other day. The reason the protest was happening is because each person that they're housing in this one hotel in New York City, it costs them $6,000 a week to house and feed them in this one hotel that they've got filled up with fucking asylum seekers. It'd be cheaper to fly their asses back to India or Senegal or whatever country they came across the ocean to cross our border for. Fuck the border tourism, that industry. It's unfucking believable. Turns into a vacation racket where we pay their travel expenses back home. No, because they don't get to stay here. You send their asses back home. No, I'm talking about the second they're being processed at the border. Sorry, we got an airport here in El Paso or Dallas or San Antonio or Houston. Within 3 days, you're gone, buddy. Or they send them to a fucking military base, house them in tents until they go home. So anyway, let's hear what else Mayor Adams has to say.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this.
You want to talk to the Biden administration, Eric?
I don't see an ending to this.
Why? Why don't
This
you?
issue?
Because your federal government ain't doing shit to fix it.
Will destroy New York City.
Oh, just New York City. Wait a minute. How will it destroy New York City? Asylum town? Just let them all go get jobs and they can pay their own shit. Why are you doing it? Why are we...
Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month.
Okay. And?
One time we were just getting Venezuela.
Why are you getting Venezuela? Now listen to what listen to the next sentence. Listen to what he says after Venezuela.
Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
There it is.
And everyone is saying
Border
it's New York
tourism.
City's problem.
No, you're getting a small, tiny percentage of them, sir. You're getting a small, tiny percentage of them in your sanctuary city. And now, maybe, Mayor Adams, maybe you got to go talk to the handlers in Washington, D.C. Go talk to the handlers and say, why are you allowing this to happen? Oh, you think it's only going to fuck up Texas? Oh, wait till you hear the next thing I got to tell you.
Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted.
Look at this sign up here. See the sign up at the top here? Oh, you can't see it because I don't have it on full screen. Let me put this on full screen for a second. Let me show what that sign says. Where's the hell did my full screen go? There it is. It says, Eric Adams, New York City Mayor, greatest city in the world.
All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played.
Did you take any into your home? Did you serve them some pancakes every morning? What role did you play? Remember he was going to ask people in New Yorkers to take in migrants? And the New Yorkers came out with a resounding, fuck that! Fuck that shit!
How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us?
Organize what? What are you going to organize? You're going to organize against the Biden administration. Yeah, he's blaming them for not fighting the problem. Well, who do they got to organize with? They got to go talk to Mayorkas. They got to talk to the Biden handlers. Those are the only people who are going to get serious about the border, and they are determined not to.
How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City?
You know who he's blaming it on, though? I mean, he's kind of blaming it on Biden, but he's more mad at the governors who are sending them there instead of the real problem. You know what he should do? Mayor Adams needs to take an information trip to the border and see why this is happening. As if they're the only city getting this. They're not. Texas is screwed right now.
It's going to come to your neighborhoods.
Uh-oh.
All of us are going to be impacted by this.
Uh-oh. I wonder if that was a dog whistle. See, if he was a white Republican who said that, imagine the backlash. It's going to come to your neighborhoods. Oh, it'd be all these non-white people. Republican would have gotten destroyed for that phrase.
I said it last year when we had 15,000. And I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose.
That
And we're all
sounds
in this
right-wing
together.
talking points.
All of us. Staten Island saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn. No, it's not the game we could play. Open the floor up.
All right, so fascinating. So now that New York City's complaining, what's the Biden administration thinking of doing? And I saw this one. This one has my blood boiling. Where is it? Where is it? Give me one. Here we go. Now, get this. This is New York Times. Let me get it. Or no, it's Los Angeles Times. Hang on. Oops, wait a minute. Hold on. I screwed that up. Let me. Where do you see this one? The Biden administration's solution to the problem in New York City and other cities right now. Here's a Biden administration's solution to this, to these migrants that are going from across the border in Texas and spreading out all over the country. Biden administration considers forcing migrant families to remain in Texas. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, I haven't even read this article. I saw the headline and I was thinking, is that what Eric Adams was talking about yesterday? Is that what Eric Adams was talking about yesterday? Good morning, Chauncey, afternoon now, Chauncey Stewart, or at least my neck of the woods. Also, good early morning to Rockhopper. What's up, my brother? Biden administration considers forcing migrant families to remain in Texas. The Biden administration is considering forcing some migrant families who enter the country without authorization to remain near the border in Texas while awaiting asylum screening, effectively limiting their ability to travel within the United States. Wow! What an amazing idea. They never thought of this before? You mean this catch and release they've been doing for the last 3 years ain't working? No, let's just keep them there at the border until they're, because oh my God, these people are nuts. Administration officials have been considering the idea as a way to stem recent increase in the numbers of migrant families crossing the southern border, which reportedly reached an all-time high last month. Good job, Mayorkas. Yes, who was it the other day? Literally one of these assholes in Washington had the nerve, the gall to say that our border is secure. Kiss all of my scar-tissued ass. Supporters of the Remain in Texas idea, which has yet to be finalized, hope that it would help the administration advance its goals of quickly deporting families who fail initial asylum screenings and deterring other families from crossing in the first place. Duh! Most of them you can process in 10 minutes. You're what? You're here from Senegal? Bye, bitch. What? You're here from India? Get the fuck out. What? You're here from Cambodia? See ya! No, oh my God. No shit. But the proposal, which recalls President Reagan's effort to limit asylum seekers' movements in the late 1980s, is likely to draw fierce opposition from immigrant rights groups and border state officials. Well, yeah. Well, of course, it's going to piss off Texas because you want to give all of Mayor Adams' problems to El Paso. That's what you're doing. So now they're all going to be in one little town in Texas. Well, you better get some motherfucking border officials down there with some tents, and you better have some federal government taking care of it because you're fucking with Texas now. So, but that solves the problem for Mayor Adams, doesn't it? What? You're here from Australia? Get the fuck out and start swimming. Yeah. Well, except for you, Rockhopper. If I would take you in my home if it was you, Rockhopper. So anyway, since 2022, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, has bussed thousands of migrants out of his state to Democrat-run cities such as Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. So, yeah, and you want them to keep those thousands of people in Texas because they're coming across the Texas border because the Biden administration is letting them come across the Texas border, and so you want to fill up Texas and fuck up Texas. And Governor Abbott's like, hey, fix this or we're going to send them other places where they get asylum. The Biden plan would force certain migrant families to remain in Texas or possibly other border states by tracking their location through GPS monitoring devices, such as ankle bracelets. You know, look, let's put yourself in the mind of a border crossing asylum seeker. Okay. China. Oh, yeah, China. China, absolutely. Bunch from China, too.
China is asshole.
Okay, so you put a GPS monitoring bracelet on these motherfuckers. Soon as they get out of processing, I'm cutting that shit off. No one gives a shit. Come on. Oh my God. According to the three officials who were not authorized to speak publicly on the matter. Yeah, because it's a dumb fucking idea. The families would be put through an asylum screening process to determine where they could stay in the U.S. and proceed with their claims. Officials have discussed working with local organizations to provide housings for the family. Look, I'll tell you what, there should automatically be a process for someone who had to cross an ocean to cross our border. Immediately denied. Send them back to where they came from, or if they are truly seeking asylum from a war-torn country in Africa or Asia or wherever in the fuck they might find them, then you send them back to the closest eligible asylum site. And they seek asylum in that country as so-called international law requires. If they crossed an ocean or any body of water to cross our border, immediately. That fucking hearing should be right there, done, out. You're out. Fuck out. But they're not doing that. Migrant families are generally harder to arrest in the interior of the U.S. because of the complicated logistical planning needed to apprehend children and their parents. Migrant families' deportation are historically lower than those of single adults seeking asylum in the U.S. Why? So they have kids. Well, guess what? Here's 4 tickets for all you assholes. Department of Homeland Security officials have discussed targeting Central American families in the program because those are countries where the U.S. can deport significant numbers of people. Wow, they talk a lot about deportation. I'm not hearing much about that in real life, in real time. They're not. Are they deporting anybody? DHS consistently holds policy and operational discussions on how to leverage our authority to ensure fair, humane, and effective immigration processes that efficiently removes those without a lawful basis to stay in this country. Again, you could start by anyone who had to cross a body of water to get to the Mexican border. That'd be a quick fix right there. You could probably take out half of these motherfuckers right now. Anyway, it goes into a little more detail. I'm done with that article. You can read the rest. By the way, all these links to all the articles will be in the one tab link in the description and in the chat at the end of the show during the outro. It's interesting. I've turned my body position about 4 times, and I think that helps. But I gotta go walk here soon, so I can't be on here any longer. Yeah, this shit's nuts. I'm sorry. It's unbelievable. Here, I'm going to group those together. Let's see, where's Mayor Adams? Here it is. I'll put those next to each other because those articles, they go hand in hand. And then finally, one more article on immigration, then I'm going to get out of here. House committee says Mayorkas enriched the cartels after second phase of the Republican-led investigation. So this is your Homeland Security, Director of Homeland Security guy, Alejandro Mayorkas, the most useless motherfucker on the planet. The House Homeland Security Committee released the findings of the second part of their probe Thursday in Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Okay, how did I say? Let me read that again. The House Homeland Security Committee released the findings of the second part of their probe Thursday into Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, finding he enriched the cartels, according to a copy of the report obtained by the Daily Caller. Under Mayorkas' leadership, As DHS secretary, cartels have gained more control over the southern border and smuggled more individuals and contraband across it, according to the report. The first phase of House Homeland Security Chairman Mark Green's probe focused on Mayorkas' alleged dereliction of his duty as director of DHS. Oh, you think? Cartel smuggling of illegal immigrants has become a billion-dollar industry as illegal immigration surge. Well, it's a tourist industry. They are creating new tourists, and the tourists are taking their services. They get a nice little vacation. They might get to see a beautiful city like New York City or Chicago, and it'll be all expenses paid vacation when they don't get kicked out. Anyway, cartel smuggling of illegal migrants has become a billion-dollar industry as illegal immigration surged, the New York Times reported in 2022. No shit. Border Patrol recorded a record of more than 2.2 million illegal migrant encounters along the southern border in fiscal year 2022, according to federal data. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas open border policies have empowered and emboldened some of the most vicious, ruthless, and savage individual groups in the world, whether it is transnational criminal organizations like the cartels and human smuggling organizations in the Western Hemisphere, potential national security threats from countries who sponsor terrorism, or those coming from major state adversaries like China and Russia. The wide open southwest border has given America's enemies all over the globe an opportunity to infiltrate the homeland and an opportunity too good to pass up. Well, there you go. Fucking A. It's too good to pass up. Congratulations. Send all your fuckheads here. Several House Republicans, including Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, Pat Fallon of Texas, and Andy Biggs of Arizona, have already filed articles of impeachment against Mayorkas. There is, however, a faction of the House Republicans who are going to wait for the conclusion of Greene's investigation before backing impeachment, according to congressional staffers who previously spoke to the Daily Caller. Hey, you know what? That's Mayor Adams' solution. Mayor Adams needs to come to Washington, D.C. Mayor Adams should go to Washington, D.C. and get some of those Democrats to join in on the move to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. He wouldn't need to even get that many, 20, 30, or any Democrat. Get some Democrats joining in on that. Get rid of this fucker. It could help New York City. Although the Biden administration is trying to help New York City by keeping all those people in Texas. So, they all need to go. They all need to go. Motherfuckers. All right, guys, there's wait, I do have one more. Shoot. I'm going to leave that out. I have one. Okay, I'm sorry. I have one more. This is immigration related too. So a Honduran man granted asylum was accused of assault and murder in 2 states. Now, I don't necessarily like these stories to say that, oh yeah, this is what happens, right? Because I guarantee you the vast majority of these people who are asylum seekers are not killing, murdering anybody. But a lot of them are. but it's not all of them. Not all, but a lot of them are. A Honduran national who's granted asylum in the U.S. was arrested Saturday for allegedly fatally stabbing an individual in New York State. Is this in Mayor Adams' town? After he had already been arrested for an alleged stabbing incident in Maryland, Rensselaer County Executive Steve McLaughlin said during a press conference Wednesday. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement source, aka ICE, who requested anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak publicly, confirmed to the Daily Caller that Carlos E. Corrales Ramirez, the alleged perpetrator, who is now 20 years old, initially entered the U.S. illegally in 2014 and was subsequently granted asylum in 2020. Where is this motherfucker from? He's from Honduras. Was there a war in Honduras? 8? That's 9 years ago. 20. Oh my God. Okay, everyone, just forget what I'm talking about for a second and listen to this phrase. 2014 was 9 years ago. How does that make you feel? Okay, let me continue. On September 3rd, police officers in Troy, New York arrested Corrales Ramirez as a suspect in the killing of Yario J. Hernandez Sanchez in Troy, New York, according to the Troy Police Department. Border Patrol and New York State Police had previously arrested Corrales Ramirez in March, and they found that he was wanted for a February assault with a knife in Maryland. Corrales Ramirez was arrested in March based on the suspicion that he was in the country illegally because he couldn't provide identification, McLaughlin said on Wednesday. I'm only going off what the Border Patrol said. I'm only going off what they said back in March, that he was here illegally. But then as of today, I don't know if the story's changing or if they're catching up. But now he was a granted asylum status, so that's what they're saying. So they also said they can't deport him unless he's been convicted, which is why it was so key that he got sent back to Maryland for trial. So they want to get him back to trial so that he committed a crime. And if he commits a crime, they can deport him, but they can't deport him because they gave him asylum, even though he's been committing these crimes. You can read the rest. Fuck these motherfuckers. Anyway, so guys, gals, and anything else that I didn't cover by those two words, I want to thank you for joining me on this first day back on the Morning Night Live. My gosh, I've been here, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Holy shit. I got to go walk because I'm getting achy now. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I might stream again before Monday, but I'm going to try to make sure that I fulfill my obligations and do on Monday through Friday, starting today, which I, even though I was a little late, I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate everyone showing up. I appreciate your patience and I appreciate your well wishes. I got a lot of them. Make sure that you follow me on Marty's Big Journey, though. I'm posting new little clips there pretty much every day, 2 or 3 a day there, because they're easy to make and they're fun and they're funny. If you want to see me be funny, go over to Marty's Big Journey. Also, there's some cool scenery over there because a lot of the stuff I do is just from places we went. So do that. And I'm also going to start doing some more shorts on this channel, but mostly just a live stream channel for me. I want to thank you again. Thanks for our sponsor today, including our Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. That would be Gun Fox. And I appreciate you. We'll see you maybe later today. Just look at your notifications. Also, don't forget, I'm trying to get on other people's shows, and I'll let you know. If you're not, follow me on Locals, please. I know that's weird. The link's always in the links every day. Follow me on Locals, and I can update you if I'm going to be on other shows, either Locals or Twitter, or where I'm going to tell people about that. So follow me there. All right, that's it. Thank you. Gotta go. My name is P. Dawg Knight. And I'm back, bitches. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P. Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P. Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not Hey, this is P. Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P. Dawg Knight channel. Okay, let's try that again with a volume. I said I've ended every show since I've started this show with I'm Dawg Knight. I'm out of here. So, bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.